Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound County Talk Live.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound County Talk, Open Forum Political Discussion Show, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, our troubles in this country never comes to an end, and therefore we all must work hard to ensure that we are not passed by the happenings. The Deputy Inspector General is under fire. Demands and pressure is being placed on him to step down for his mix in the saga of the untimely demise of Albert Ojwang, who, under the complaint of the Deputy Inspector General, he was arrested and ended up dead in police custody. And so, since he was the main complainant, and it was under his jurisdiction that this arrest were done, everybody is saying if there will be any genuine and any worthwhile investigations taking place, he needs to be out of office. While this is going on, the OCS, Central Police Station, has been arrested, as well as the cop that was in charge of that night when these happenings took place was arraigned in court today, and there were questions rising from all that is being asked about this unlikely and, of course, unbecoming event of losing a young life unnecessarily, in the opinion of majority of Kenyans. Well, is this the beginning of the end of impunity in our country, or impunity is still going to win against sanity and against what it should be? Well, justice for Albert Ojwang is the outcry of majority of Kenyans, and outrage is beyond measure, even as young people take to the streets and say justice for Albert and Langat should go. What is your take on the same? Appreciate everybody who is joining from wherever you are. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of this great interaction. Please make sure that you're an extension of what you're doing right here, right where you are, by sharing the link widely. And please make sure that you don't miss out in sharing your opinion about what is cooking. I look forward to having a great time with you, even as we analyze all this that is happening in our country. I believe you love this country enough to want to do and seek justice to be done to everybody. And so I really bank on your input, even as we share what we see in terms of our understanding. But no matter what, this country needs to be fixed, and you have a great role to play in making Kenya great again and ensuring that Kenya doesn't miss out on the very best that it's supposed to have. And therefore, I look forward to having everyone. Please karibisha mtu tumakinike pamoja. Nianze na kuomba msamaha, sija kuwepo kwa muda, na nashukuru kwamba nimepata tunuku ya kupatikana tena. Tutakuwa pamoja hadi tamati. Nashukuru wote ambao umejumuika nasi na kuendeleza kipindi hata wakati sipo. Naamini kwamba wote tunahitajika na kazi lazima ifanywe. Cha muhimu hapa na kuomba tu share your live, karibisha mtu, tumakinike pamoja. Na kumbuka kuna swali kuu ambalo tungependa wewe utoe majibu yako, ndio linahusu haya tunayoyazungumzia. Should the deputy inspector general Eliud Langat resign over the Albert Ojwang's death saga? What is your take? 50% already say he must take responsibility. 50% says no, let investigations conclude. And then, of course, only if he's guilty or it is a deep systematic problem. Well, we need to have your response on the same. We are live on YouTube, Sound Candy Talk, YouTube Sound Candy Talk live, as well as Sound Candy Talk Facebook page, and also don't forget it is Sound Candy Talk on TikTok. Thank you so much. Naomba tafadhali kumbusha mtu, naona kuna wengi ni kama wameenda kulala, na waamshe basi waambie kipindi kimeanza na tuko tayari kuchambua masuala haya. Now, tukianza kuyazamia moja kwa moja tu, hili swala la Deputy Inspector General and his being sensitive about titles and of course headlines about him. The KTN has a story on him that begins to be the foundation upon which what played in terms of getting to even arrest Albert in the first place, and probably leading to his death. I don't know what your take will be, but I want us to watch that story and then begin to break it down. And the monster that we need to deal with in this country is impunity, because what we are seeing at play right now, it is strange that the junior police officers are all being targeted. The person who was on duty, the OCS of Central Police Station, but they were not the complainant. They did not even, sanction the arrest. What is happening? Are we working out on a cover-up so that we save the skin of the Deputy Inspector General, or what? Let's talk. Let's hear this and then break it down together. Asante sana kwa kila moja. Naomba tumakinike kukaribishana, kumbusha mtu kipindi kimeanza na tuko hapa kuchambua masuala haya wazi wazi. Thank you so much. Let's look into this.
KTN can reveal disturbing new details that shows the plot leading to the brutal murder of Albert Ojwang. Days before his death, officers from the General Service Unit quietly stormed the Standard Media Group in a Probox vehicle with a fake number plate of a Subaru vehicle, investigating a fictitious front page titled "The Richest Cop," falsely attributed to the Standard and linked to Deputy Inspector General Eliud Langat. Once the headline was dismissed as fake, attention shifted to Ojwang, the man accused of spreading it. And days later, he was dead. Eliud Langat is a man many believe should no longer wear the sacred uniform of the National Police Service. But he is not stepping aside. So the question remains, can credible investigation truly begin while Langat still holds power? KTN Francis Ontoma begins our bulletin tonight.
In a career spanning over 25 years, Eliud Langat has climbed through the ranks, now one heartbeat away from the top office in the National Police Service. But tonight, the Deputy Inspector General finds himself in the eye of a national storm, linked to one of the most chilling state-sponsored brutality in police cells this country has ever seen: the killing of 31-year-old Albert Ojwang.
Albert Ojwang was arrested in Homa Bay County by DCI detectives for the offense of false publication.
The man Kanja refers to is currently lying cold at the city mortuary, killed in cold blood for simply sharing an opinion about the DIG. But how did a fake front page clearly fabricated trigger such a lethal response from the police? KTN can now reveal that days before Ojwang's death, a Toyota Probox bearing registration number KDD055Z drove into the parking lot of the Standard Media Group in Nairobi on April 22nd. Inside, 3 men who identified themselves as officers from the General Service Unit. The men said they were here over a headline established to be fabricated that had ruffled feathers at the National Police Service titled "The Richest Cop" and linked to Langat. The National Transport and Safety Authority system showed that the Toyota Probox used in the mission bore a fake number plate. This number plate is registered to a black Subaru Forester under the name of Mutungwa Wambua. They quickly finished their interrogation and sped off. Several days later, another related fake headline, "The Mafia Cop," again resurfaced, and it is this fabrication that is believed to have cost Albert Ojwang his life.
Justice for Ojwang! Justice for...
Even with outrage mounting from civil society and rights groups, Eliud Langat remains unmoved. He has refused to step aside despite mounting calls for accountability and impartial investigations.
We equally call upon the Deputy Inspector General of the Kenya Police Service, Mr. Eliud Langat, to publicly and unconditionally recuse himself from taking part or influencing the investigations in any way, save for as may be required of him as a potential witness.
But to truly understand who Langat is, the power he wields and his actions, we must look back to May this year. Following the brazen killing of a Catholic priest in Tot Elgeyo Marakwet, Father Alois Cheruyot Bet in Kerio Valley, Langat was deployed to restore order.
We agree how this thing is going to be actualized. Saizi mtaongea baada ya hii. Tunaelewana chairman? We've agreed you map out areas that you think it's posing some threat. Ndio huyo county commander wangu, and he's under full instructions to provide security for people that don't come to this place. Tumeelewana?
But within a week of that tough statement, 2 bodies were discovered dumped by the roadside in Soin Ward, Nakuru County. Both men said to be Tot residents in Elgeyo Marakwet. A coincidence or a pattern? Is there more to read from this on the spate of disappearances and abductions that have been rocking the country? Tonight, the conscience of the nation is disturbed by the loud silence from the highest office in the land. No word, no action. But for a man supposed to push and uphold security and rule of law, Eliud Langat now stands accused of embodying the very rot he swore to fight. Francis Ontomwa, KTN, Nairobi.
Okay, mambo ni kama hayo. Kama unatufuata, naomba tafadhali tuambie unatupata ukiwa sehemu gani katika comment section, alafu wala ambao mnataka kuchangia mjadala huu na kuomba tafadhali fanya hima, ingia studio tukazungumze masuala haya kwa kina. The link to use to get in the studio is already in the comment section. Click on it, allow StreamYard to configure for you the camera as well as the audio, and you will be in this space for us to talk. Now, listening to that story, you notice that the issue about Albert and the DIG is not coming from nowhere. You know, we are living in the time when there is what is called fake news. But there is also how to post your story so that it looks credible and believable, and that is either falsifying the origin of the story or the carrier of the story. And so according to Ojwang and of course the Standard Group and KTN, that they were first of all approached by cops who claimed to be from the General Service Unit. And they came in a car with a false number plate. Now that raises a red flag from the word go. Are our police officers the ones committing crimes using fake number plates on their vehicles? Is that justifiable? Is that how it operates? I don't know. Maybe the need to conceal identity may arise where their lives are in danger. But going to a media house to do an interrogation about the headline of a paper that you suspect it's defaming somebody prominent, should you use vehicles with false number plates? Is it all right for police officers to falsify their identity when they are going after a story or they are going after an arrest? Now, if this were acting under the instruction of the Deputy Inspector General, because he was the one implicated in the story that has resulted into the death of Albert Ojwang, why was it necessary for the people following this story to use a vehicle that has false number plate? If we follow this closely, then I think we are looking for criminals in wrong places, or the people charged with the responsibility to deal with criminals are the ones practicing criminology. I don't know what your take will be on the same, but it doesn't smell right and it doesn't look right for police officers to break the law while trying to enforce the law. What is your take? I need your input on the same. Thank you those joining. Please, let's be on the forefront to invite each other. Tuko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba tunaangazia masuala haya. So, false number plate, that's a red flag. The police officers goes to invade a media house believed to have published the story. And then it was discovered that the headline was fake and it did not emanate from the media house. And so in their digging, they discovered that, oh, somebody is only using that media house name to publish a story to make the story believable. And in the process of digging, according to what has just been reported, it was discovered that the person pushing this content, the person pushing this publication is Albert and team. And so what happens? They go to look for Albert. Now, if this is happening and if what is being reported is anything to go by, then it goes without saying that all these people are acting in preference and in the quest to get to the bottom of the story, because the story was painting the director, inspector, wherever the deputy inspector general in bad light, and he wanted to clear his name. And so according to what is being said, he made a complaint to the DCI, and the DCI swinged in and began to investigate the matter. No, if this is the complainant, and then the police officers going about questioning about the story are using fake number plates on their vehicle, that is suspect, number one. And number two, we have not had any other complainant in this entire scenario. We have not had any other complainant in this entire story. And so we can comfortably say the person who instigated and ensured that Albert Ojwang is arrested is none other than the Deputy Inspector General, Eliud Langat. Now, if we want to get to the bottom of this, Eliud Langat needs to be making a formal statement about the whole saga. But from the look of things, it appears he's the one controlling the investigation and leading the investigation, and he's not planning to budge from office. Now, what is this about our country? Do we talk about justice that we don't want enforced? Do we talk about justice for all just for political reasons? Or what's going on? What happened to people stepping aside to allow investigations? What are the implications of him stepping aside? Does it make it impossible for him to get back if he gets cleared? I need your input from wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. And so two things arise from that story. One, false police using false vehicle number plates. That is a red flag. Two, the complainant has not made a formal statement. The complainant is still leading the investigation. In my opinion, that smells bad, and it shows clearly that nobody is ready for what is required by Kenyans. And then, of course, the young people in this country are saying we're going to have none of that. My question is, does William Ruto and team understand the kind of fire they are inviting to their doorstep by their playing games with a serious matter like this? We have had in the past lives lost in questionable circumstances, and their story just died. The question tonight is, will Albert Ojwang's story also just add to the statistics, or is it going to count? Will the DIG make room for people to investigate him, or he wants to investigate himself? What is the president saying on the matter? The Minister for Interior, the Parliament, the Senate, what's their take on the same? In my opinion, their voices should be heard loud and clear. We cannot continue like this. Evil should be called evil, good should be called good, and any person wanting to misuse, abuse their office to the extent of getting somebody's life snuffed out, that is not anywhere in the vocabulary of a just society. So, what is your take? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, those joining on TikTok. Naona tumejitahidi huku na shindwa. YouTube tulienda wapi? 10 people. Can we get more people to join, please? I can see our PS Tuni. Sijui kumekuaje, lakini nashukuru uko hapa. Karibu. Naomba tu makinike kukaribishana na tuangazie swala hili. Kwangu mimi kuna ambacho tunachukulikia hapa kama tunatafuta haki ya Albert Ojwang, bas the DIG should step aside, should be out of office. You can't investigate yourself and we get right results into what we are looking for. And this impunity has to end. This protecting of the big people and sacrificing the small fish, that attitude and that culture must be brought down. And I believe this justice for Albert Ojwang will do good to this country. They may have snuffed his life, but his life will not be in vain. And of course, his quest for a better Kenya must be realized. And so as the young people raises their voice on the matter, I also want to add my voice on the same. Impunity must end in this country. We must have Kenya for all Kenyans, and all Kenyans should be the same in the eyes of the law. The issue of using the law to protect the big and the mighty, and then using the law to push and, make life unbearable for the least in the society, that must end. And let this be a lesson to everyone. Nobody's above the law in this country. And so we must, as a people, stand on the right side of history. And that is impunity must be slain once and for all. We cannot continue like this. Okay, thank you everybody. Nashukuru tu sana, naomba tumakinike tunapo switch gears kuangalia story hiyo moja. Tunaangazia kama vile kumekwenda kule ni wapi. Imesemekana Mkhwana ambaye ndio police officer alikuwa kwa duty hiyo siku ambayo mambo haya yalifanyika. Amenaswa, amepelekwa kotini, na leo kumekuwa na hiyo masuala kuhusu yeye kutoa ushahidi wake. Kisha kulikuwa na IPOA oversight, the Independent Police Oversight Authority, ambao wako na jukumu kubwa la kufanya investigation ya hii kesi, na yale mambo yanatokea yanatisha sana, kwamba baada ya haya mambo yote kutokea, hata CCTV kuna mtu amenaswa kwamba yeye ndiye alitumika kufuta hizo picha za CCTV na kalipwa shilingi 3,000. Hata sina la kusema. Wacha tusikilize alafu tutachambua. Asante.
This is Police Constable James Mkhwana, the first suspect to be arraigned in court regarding the brutal murder of blogger and teacher Albert Ojwang. While presenting Mkhwana before Senior Principal Magistrate Robinson Ondieki, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority IPOA revealed that Mr. Mkhwana was the cell sentry on the night when Ojwang was found unconscious inside a Central Police Station cell.
IPOA investigations found that the CCTV system had interfered with, DVR cable disconnected, and DVR logs indicated that the operating disk has been changed and formatted. On June 2025 at 7:28 seconds to 7:32.
Investigating officer Mr. Abdurrahman Jibril told the court that on the day Ojwang was assaulted, the suspected officer was in constant communication with persons in and away from the police station. In his defense, through his lawyer Dunstan Omari, Mkhwana opposed the ruling to detain him until June 20th, arguing that there were no compelling reasons to deny him bail and that he showed willingness to cooperate.
It is our submissions that out of that, this is a knee-jerk reaction to show everybody and the people are talking that we have arrested someone.
However, this request was sharply objected by IPOA, which warned that releasing Mkhwana could result in interference with witnesses, crime scene evidence, and crucial custody records.
At one point, they will interfere with witnesses. At another point, we have interrogated the witnesses. So where is the truth?
Mkhwana's mobile phone is also set to undergo a forensic analysis as the investigative team eagerly awaits for results of samples submitted to the government chemist. Meanwhile, in a separate application, IPOA is also seeking a court order to compel Safaricom to release subscriber information, call records and location data for the period between 4th June 2025 from 5 a.m. and 8th June 2025 up to 12 a.m. for at least 17 mobile phone numbers believed to be linked to the case. Mkhwana will now spend the next 7 days at Capitol Hill Police Station, awaiting the court ruling as IPOA vows to identify and arrest other persons involved in the attempted cover-up of Ojwang's murder. Theo Masharia for K24 TV.
Reasonable attempt.
There you have it. The mix and the twists of the Justice for Albert Ojwang case continues. Mkhwana here is the police officer that was on duty and is behind bars for his participation into the saga. From what has been reported, that they are checking his communications, and they seek to get authority or call logs from Safaricom to be able to establish the communications that he had with who over the same. Now, one of the things that are surprising and, of course, troublesome in my understanding is the pace at which this is going on. It looks like somebody wants to have a concluded outcome of these investigations. In fact, they're causing deliberate delay and not going about what should be going about the investigations at the required place. If IPOA wanted the truth, should they be discussing the matter of going to Safaricom, obtaining those logs in court, or they just do their job? If they need a court order, they should have gone and obtained that court order and then are able to get those logs before they get interfered with. But from the look of things, it appears somebody wants to mess this case, and he's determined to ensure that that's done. And so they are busy arresting these police officers, arresting the OCS, and then as the arrest is continuing, the deleting of the CCTV, whatever videos, and then now the logs will follow. In my observation, they just want this thing to disappear and bear no fruit, just like the one from Sando, Jacob Juma, and all the people that have lost their lives in unclear circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the country we are fighting to have. This is not the kind of Kenya we want. We want Kenya that ensures justice for all. Everyone should be the same in the eye of the law. Everyone who is perpetuating this save the big people and mess the small people, he doesn't have the interests of this country at heart. Well, let's keep ventilating. Thank you. Please, let's get more people to join. Thank you so much. I can see the number swelling. Let's keep inviting, reminding people as we engage. I'm happy Reverend Lala is here to help us shed more light on this matter. Reverend Lala, how are you today?
Yeah, Bernard, it's good to see you. I hope you're feeling better.
Getting better, getting better. Thank you for your prayers and support.
Thank God. It's good to be with all of you and those in the background and listening. Happy to join with you today on this wonderful place where Kenyans can get unfiltered, reliable, and complete news regarding what's going on, what is trending, what is current. And it's a joy to be here, Bernard. Bernard, first of all, I'm still totally confused, at times embarrassed at how we handle such sensitive things. And just to show the world either how corrupt we are, how we lack the decency of carrying out investigation in the right way, and how those that should be focused on are given a pass. For example, I think I heard Omari, Danson Omari, defending Mukhwana. And Mukhwana is a constable, you know, a low guy there. Okay, and as usual, they'll go for those ones lower. Interesting enough, they have taken Talaam. The Talaam is just an OCS, so it's still not that high either. But when you talk about interfering with the investigation, who should have been in? Who should have been even put under house arrest, whatever? It is the Langats that we're hearing, the name that keep on surfacing everywhere. And this guy is still holding the powers. And when you look at, the hierarchy of powers, the guy is still basically doing the investigation because he's still the assistant commissioner, assistant commissioner, inspector general of the police. Okay, so he still has that power. So how do you work under him to do an investigation? IPOA is laughable because, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think they have a good track record. And part of it, I heard they are not funded well. They can't prosecute. Okay, they still need other component to do their investigation. So here to tell IPOA to even interview people like Langat is almost like they feel unable to do that because the power structure still stays the same. So in my own mind, it's a mockery of justice for Ojwang. It's really a mockery. They have not helped us understand what happened between Homa Bay and the Central Police Station. They have not, unless somebody can tell me. They can't put the whole narrative together that holds. They can't, and they have not done it. And the theories, what they have left is speculation. So I think that is by design. People just speculate. Okay, it was in Karura, taken out, back and forth, and all. So the truth is somewhere, but then with speculation, it's been nobody really knows what happened because that's what they want people to to come up with. We don't know what really happened, and so let's focus on these people who were there that night. But nobody has helped us to understand those many hours between Homa Bay and Nairobi. Where was this person? So when you hear Karura, it makes sense. When you hear been taken out of the station and tortured, or something in the, it almost makes sense. The only thing is that when they make sense, that it means there are more people who are aware because you can't do that thing, whatever they did to this man in that police station without somebody hearing. Okay, I've not been to that particular, station, but I don't think it's big enough where nobody can know what is going on. So someone has a lot of information. And Bernard, just summarize my thought. Okay, I'm a preacher of the gospel. Okay, and this Ojwang's narrative, Ojwang's story, Ojwang's situation reminds me of 2,000 years ago when Christ was arrested in the garden. So between the garden and the cross and the Golgotha, the Calvary, the kind of suffering he had to go through. And that suffering was not in vain. Out of it, we have the church. We have all of us talking as brothers and sisters in Christ. We have the power of God. We have gained something out of it. And looking at Ojwang's suffering, my prediction is that this suffering will liberate Kenya if Kenyans, take it seriously. Because I think, to me, the one who captures the essence of what has been going on is, I think, a Kisi senator called Omugeni. I watched him call Murkomen. No, you have your children. You can see that he didn't say much, but out of that scene, you sense what has taken place. You kill this man with only one. He was a father, only one son. He's the only child, and that really rang the bell. Christ, the only begotten Son of God. So there is this a type, is a vicarious type of a suffering and death. So even out of this sad, senseless killing, I think Kenyans must get the spiritual message, and that is the country must be liberated from corruption, from tribalism, for these isms, because it has gone on for a long, long time. And if we don't do it now, where are we going? Are we going to, at the end of the day, leave the things in the same way, same place? Langat is up there and all that. I think that would be a colossal failure on our part as a people. So in my mind, I think the death of this young man is a pivotal for the nation. I think it is it speaks to every part of our nation, politically, economically, spiritually, in every sense of the word. And so these leaders must listen to us, and things must change, because what is going on does not make any sense to me. Things could be made very, very clear. Let all those people step aside. Let us do the investigation. Very, very clear. To me, the other person that I'm having issues with is the IG. It seems as if he's working for this, his assistant. I mean, I don't understand it. The leadership of the country is, the leader himself also is silent. In more ways, is doing more harm to the process than helping. So there's a total confusion in my mind. When Wananchi knows the truth, a young man's life has been senselessly taken. Okay, why take somebody? I mean, that's the question that people have been talking about for a long time. But you see, Bernard, countries where there's what we call the trial by jury, like in the US, Canada, Brazil and others. Number one, you cannot be removed from your own environment where you come from. Your trial must take place in that context. In other words, the peers there who know you, watu wanda kujua, lazima ndio wafanye nini, form the pool of jury. So even the idea that that Ojwang was taken from Homa Bay to Nairobi, where he does not live, is miscarriage of justice. Because number one, that's not his environment. It's not advantage to have money and lawyers to live in the city and transport his family that are poor to Nairobi to do the trial there. So what were they trying to, what is that justice? The best would have been in Mawego, in Homa Bay there. Go and bring those charges, let the trial be there. So to me, I think Kenya should abolish this idea of transporting people, to Nairobi or to these places. That is not justice in my mind. It is actually miscarriage of justice. So that's one level. The second level, of course, the idea that dates, facts, and they cannot put it all together, and nobody seems to be doing anything, to ease the fears of the nation in a way that is more consistent. It's not lies after lies. They tell you one thing, something, and people seem to be okay with it. To me, I think it's very embarrassing, because unless somebody can explain to us, because we are trying to follow how things are, the sequence and the facts and the details and all that, and everything seems to be falling apart, and nobody seems to be taking charge of anything. I don't know, maybe you guys can help us understand what's really going on. So let me stop here. Back to you, Bernard. That is my opening statement.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Lala. We appreciate that. A good coverage indeed, and great questions there that we seek to find answers. There is no record of Ojwang living in Nairobi, so why was it necessary for him to be tried in Nairobi, if that was the case? And then, of course, conflicting accounts coming from the same police station. The OCS has its own story. The police officer, the constable that was on duty, has his own story. The IG, the Inspector General himself, has his own story. And then, of course, the complainant, the Deputy Inspector General. And so this looks like it has been a network of police taking advantage of the ignorance of Kenyans and defeating the pursuit for justice by the very Kenyans. And it's so sad that we can be losing lives on the premise of impunity, because this is not, in the words of Willis, the lawyer, you see, this is not an enforcement of law. It is just, cruelty and impunity at play, because going to arrest somebody, transporting to the police station, then he dies in the police station, what will you be enforcing? What law will you be enforcing in terms of what law has he broken? And if the information that was published was false, the best thing to do is you file for defamation. They have published a story about you. That story is not true. You go and prove it before the judge, and then you will be paid for any damages that you may have incurred by reason of the publication of that story. We have had so many cases in that in that relation. We had Mother Karua was once paid by a media house for airing a story about her, which implicated her in terms of painting her in bad light. It was settled. You've had cases of a particular family being paid by the Standard Group for publishing a story about them. And so what was so special about the story that is published by Albert that would not follow that due channel of seeking redress by reason of the defamation of the character of the Deputy Inspector General? Why would it warrant to get somebody moved around, arrested, put in police cells, and then, according to what we are hearing, that he was picked at night, went for torture, and then brought back when he was half dead? And so the matter here is not looking good. And as Kenyans, we shouldn't sit down on this one. We should push until we get to this bottom of this matter. The police have gotten away with so many things, and it appears now they have made it their law that they can violate the law, they can act out of impunity, and they become untouchable. This should not go on. From the look of things, if we let this one drop, we are doomed as a country. Because see the way we are doing, somebody steals an election, we make them president. Somebody now takes somebody's life, and now we are protecting the person who has taken another person's life while victimizing the family that has been actually aggrieved in this issue. And we don't see how, how bad that is making our society look. How do we look as the beacon of peace, or the beacon of going to restore order in Haiti, when there is disorder in Central Police Station? Central Police Station, the police station in the capital city, is where No. As a country and as a people, let's wake up. Let's stop this issue of and then of course I will play a video shortly. But there is some I think a tweet by Mtainguni and Esther Passaris that is pathetic. That they are in view of all this, somebody still wants to play tribal politics and try to say that somebody is implicating the deputy inspector general to stop him from succeeding the inspector general. So to them, Albert was killed by someone else to implicate the deputy inspector general. How is that possible? I mean, who is this that must become the IG? And Kanja just came in office the other day. Who is leaving office to go where? And so the politicians, just keep off this. If you can't help the Kenyans, leave them alone. Kenyans, we are survivors. We've been doing well alone. So just keep off. If you can't help us, leave us alone. We know how to go about it. But the issue of you interfering with a clear case like this one by trying to exonerate somebody who is bang in the midst of the whole saga, no. And so I need to hear what you think about this. Thank you so much. Simbo Marseille, I can see you. Thank you so much. Naomba tafadhali tumakinike. Let's just hear what Willie said about this, and then we look at the arrest of the OCS and why they are terming him as the prime suspect in this entire issue. What is cooking with our police and enforcement of the law? Let's hear Willis first, then check into other stories.
Well, today we have recently witnessed, actually not today, we have recently witnessed a tragedy of one of a young Kenyan. They allegedly claim that he died in police custody. And my question is, where do we draw the line between law enforcement and state-sponsored violence?
In this particular instance, there was no law enforcement that was being done. This was an execution, a killing by people who are holding police officers. There was no law that was being applied in regard to Albert Ojwang from the beginning. Why take him from Homa Bay? Not book him in Homa Bay? Why not, number one, even give him summons to attend to a police station? Then, when he gets to Nairobi, you put him in a cell on his own. What was the intention? Of course, you're planning for someone to go and kill him at night, if not yourselves. So there was no law enforcement. This was purely a state execution.
Yeah. For the young Kenyans who feel powerless, what can we really do to push for justice apart from just posting on the social media?
The most important thing is that we must continue speaking. We cannot silence our voices. The manner in which they're doing all of these things, the intention is to scare Kenyans, to intimidate them. It is done with an intention to scare Kenyans to stop speaking. We must keep talking, and we must make as much noise as possible. And we must start deplatforming politicians who are supporting this nonsense. We must demand for accountability. And when the time comes, we must appear on the streets to demand for a better country. It is not enough to just write. We must also put our boots on the ground and demand for a better society. Yeah. They cannot kill all of us. Yeah. Those of us who will live will have fought for a better country, for our children and their children.
Thank you so much, Mr. Willis.
Thank you.
A shocking twist in the murder of Albert Ojwang. The man accused says he's being framed. Benjamin Talaam, a police officer at the center of the case, says he's not the killer and claims he's being used as a scapegoat to protect the real culprits. In a statement to IPOA, Talaam says Ojwang was already tortured when he arrived at the station, but despite his injuries, officers still locked him up. Talaam also says CCTV footage was removed from the station just after Ojwang's death by text from police headquarters acting under orders. And while DCI boss Amin Mohammed has named Talaam the prime suspect, Talaam insists, "I will not be your sacrificial lamb. The truth will come out." The battle for justice is heating up. Who's telling the truth and who's covering up? Stay with us for the full story.
There you have it, Reverend Lala.
Oh, yes. Bernard, is in my mind, we are dealing with very demonic characters. It's just beyond evil, but they're demonic. Because what they have done to this man, even snake, you don't do that. Even, you begin to feel something. For them to do something like this to a human being, these are animals. These are not a true human being. And to imagine that these are the people above us, these are our police officers, these are our DCI, these are the people that we elected to the office to protect us. It's like choosing hyena to be to oversight you, and hyena will make sure you're eaten. To me, it's a long list of events such as this one that have taken place. Some of them nobody will ever talk about, and you can imagine if we don't do anything to these people and we let them off the hook. How sure are we that somebody else they'll be more emboldened, because this has been going on for a long time, to do this? We are more emboldened to do the same thing. So it's so scary. We're not acting, not doing something. It may be risky for us to go out, but we got to. Something has to happen. There is this. We just can't accept it. And so, in my mind, Kenyans have not been listening, but now they can see, they can watch. First of all, the horror, what's taken place, and then they can see how they twist things, how they lie with the same department, the police and the DCI and the Kanja, who are that Kanja guy, because it's like he's a stooge of somebody else, who is lower than him, So to me, I think is sad to watch. It's painful to watch, and it just shows how Kenyans perhaps as we have grown this deafness that we see, but we're not moved as much. But thank God for the young people that are speaking out. Thank God for many people that are standing, and the nation is waking up. And I think we have to. There's no other way. There's no other route. It has to happen now. It has to be done. This man, justice must be justice for all others like Ojwang. Okay? Let Ojwang speak. His blood speak for all of us. Because even listening to some of the reasoning, they think of us as really stupid. They just accept, the date should be there. This is a police force. What bothers me is this, that the city cameras interfered with. And what are we talking about? We are talking about the Central Police. When you hear the word central in any country, it's a very critical station that book in terrorists and others. And one of the things, the tools that we have to fight is really the CCTV, the cameras. And camera should be, there must be somebody in a remote location, whether it's the vigilante headquarters, whatever, to monitor what's really going on, so that it is not just that camera alone. That's one. There has to be another site, because that is a very critical, installation. The Central Police as a critical place. So to hear that somebody interfered with the CCTV, and nobody seemed to know what's going on. No, there's no way. I'm sure somebody knows in even another location knows. Most cities are monitored from a centralized place. I know something else security, and they can see all corners of the public areas, from a very centralized place, so they can follow a lot of these things. With technology is there. So when they tell us that somebody interfered with CCTV and there's no information, I don't buy that. Something is not right. I don't accept that something we are not being told. Somebody knows something, and then IPOA to come in as if they are coming from a place of ignorance, to come in and say to stand off. They should ask a deeper question. Maybe they're asking. So this is unacceptable. The idea that the CCTV can be turned off and they accept that. No, there has to be more cameras somewhere for a critical installation like the Central Police Station, not to have something that can help when there is a terrorist situation, or a situation where there has to be multiple cameras to see what's going on there, because that's a very critical, space, in the nation. So I don't buy this idea that thing was turned off. There must be something in there. This is a well-organized, calculated, methodically carried out operation to stop us from getting that information. But thank God, you see, the blood of the young man is speaking, okay? And Kenyans are seeing the confusion, so things are not holding together. They are falling apart in terms of information. And this should make all Kenyans to step out and ask those questions. This is not a time to cover for anybody. And that's what bothers me with the IG, okay? Because it seems to be trying to cover for somebody, but you could see the DCI and the IG. See the IG, the Inspector General. Okay, the IG. They're trying to stay together, but the information are different. So I think IG should be much more clear to just disagree, because it can't take a sin of somebody else if it's not part of it. So that's what I see. And maybe you got more information than I, but the limited information that I'm getting from this end, I see a total confusion, and that is good, because at least it's telling us something that we know all along, that there is evil, there's corrupt practices in that system, and God is showing us so that we can see, and we have to do something about it. Back to you, Bernard.
Oh, thank you, Lala. We appreciate that, and you got it right. The IG seems not to be himself. He seemed to be under strict instructions to ensure that whichever way the case goes, his deputy is saved. And this has gone on for too long in our country, where we use what we call reverse engineering. The case is going this way, and we look for how to abort it and ensure that it gets aborted, not because there were no credible evidence or there were no culprits in the matter, but we make sure that those culprits are saved, and therefore we make impunity be the rule and not the exception. Now, this, in my understanding, is one of the things that has made this country to be stuck in one place without making a serious progress in terms of us being free indeed. The aspect of the police being whenever aids to the lawbreakers, that the police helps the lawbreakers get off the hook by giving them insights. In this kind of a case, this is how much you're going to be paid in case you're taken to court, but I can make this disappear so that you walk free. And so when the law enforcers become aids to the defeat of that law, then we are doomed as a people. Simba Omar Saidia anauliza swali anasema, Bernard, nani anachagua IPOA? Just a moment, we sort this out. Okay, here we go. Good. IPOA is Independent Police Oversight Authority. Of course, they are appointed by the president. I think the chair is Isaac Hassan, the former IEBC chair. That's the current chairman of IPOA. And IPOA is supposed to seek, or rather, investigate the police that are acting out of their authority and out of their law. And I don't think they have prosecutory, maybe public participation will help me there, prosecutory powers. They are only supposed to suggest it to the director of prosecution. I don't know. But they are underfunded, like it has been said, and then they are supposed to investigate these cases. But in most cases, I don't see them having any capacity to bite against the director, wherever, the deputy inspector general. But from the look of things, like we have said here before, in Kenya, it appears that we put up commissioners or commissions to fail. We put up commissions for the show of it. We want to have a so-called independent electoral commission, but it is not independent. So this one is Independent Police Oversight Authority, but the independent there is just a name. There is no independence. For example, when the IG was giving the report about Albert, the people that flagged him, one of the people that flagged him is IPOA. So IPOA supports the report that the IG has given on camera. Then later on, they say now they have been charged by the IG to investigate the case thoroughly. They're not even supposed to work under IG. I don't get it. So in this country, we have a long way to go in terms of putting up systems and letting systems work in the interest of the majority of Kenyans and securing the country on the rule of law. We seem to be just caught up into corruption at all levels and want to play with everything, including the lives of the Kenyan people. It is so sad that we pay people salaries and keep them using taxpayers' money only for them to work against us and do everything to make sure that whatever that is for our welfare doesn't pick up. It's very sad. So, yes, yanalindwa na polisi. Simba Mariseni anasema Isaka Hassan yanalindwa na polisi. Si ndio hiyo hiyo? So wewe bodyguard wako ni polisi. Alafu wewe ndio una investigate police. Alafu unataka no. We need change. Well, unless there is something you want to add on, Reverend Lala, we will bring in
Leonard, only one thing to my fellow Kenyans. Where we are, we have only one option, and the option is the people. This is we the people. This is we failed at one point. Okay, we didn't complete the assignment, but against God in His own wisdom has given us, it's back to us. What do we do when your system have failed to work for your people? When the justice, the executive, and others are not doing what they're supposed to do, then what do we have left? It is us that God has given us this land. It's we the people. This is our land. This is our home. And it's upon us to speak with one voice. One thing that I think Bernard, I'm happy with, even though there are those who are trying to use this for their own particular political mileage. Okay, you can see a lot. There are very many out there, but there's a sense in which all Kenyans want the same thing. Okay, so the sense of unity, I think, is good, and I think it can be used forcefully so that nobody dies, and we just demand that change as a people. For example, if there's going out, let everybody do it so that we do it as a people, that this is what we want. And we see those changes taking place before our eyes. I think we can do it, because when you don't have a system that you can trust, then what do? You take back the power. That's my hope, that we all will stand. And the problem with us Kenyans is always waiting for somebody else to do it for us. Long time ago, it used to be the Americans or the foreigners will do it for us. Then these days, I think we are coming closer home, but we're still trusting the judiciary, maybe the legislative, or maybe the executive. I don't think they can do it. So the key question is, who can do it? And I believe constitutionally we can do it. But we have to be very, very careful, because we also have people that are out there that are just as bad as these people. To me, I think seeing somebody like Muhwana, put there because he can interfere, what can he interfere with? This is the lowest ranking person in the police system. To have, could he have organized all that? The CCTV, take somebody out, go kill, beat him, and all that by himself? It's a joke here, And then they put that Talaam in there, so the two of them did it. Let's give us a break. We want justice. We want truth to come out. Back to you, Bernard.
So thank you, Lala. We appreciate that. And quickly, let's have public participation, give her views, and then, of course, we'll play the other videos later. How are you? Long time.
Long time.
Karibu, karibu.
Hey.
Pastor Bernard, how are you? And Reverend Lala.
Great.
Good
to hear.
Yeah, so Bernard, of course, we are under some very unfortunate circumstances, as you can see. And there is a lot which has come out courtesy of this case. One of the things, the preliminary things or observations I've made is that this case should have been a defamation case, because it was a case whereby some information was being written about the deputy AG, but he made a complaint to the head of DCI, that is Amin, and Amin then went to Communications Authority of Kenya with the complaint, and somehow they told him, or they agreed with him, that it's now not a civil case, it can be a criminal case. And they followed up together with the cybercrime unit inside the DCI to find the true identity of the person who was posting material about the DIG, that he had been extorting money from Kenyans to the tune of 100 million every day, which he had used the proceeds of this money to buy houses in Dubai and other properties. So, of course, after the forensic, the cyber people did their thing, they got the guy. And that's when now they were given a go-ahead or an order to go and arrest the guy. So at the point of that time, he was at Homa Bay with his parents, as you all know. they were eating dinner or lunch. The lunch, it was around lunch because they picked him around 2:30. And this is someone who worked in I think Voi. And they booked him at a local local police station. I think it's called Maweni or something, to just for record keeping that they've arrested him. And they brought him to Nairobi and they brought him to Central Police Station. So of course he was booked at around 9:30 there. And now really what transpired between that time is a total mystery to Kenyans. The police station has 25 CCTV cameras, but between Thursday, I think 6th, and Friday 7th, which was the material day, period when the guy went into Ojwang went into the station, a senior officer was said to have called the technician to come and delete the CCTV for that period of between Thursday to Friday, 6th to 7th June. And he told him he will not be able to do that. The best he can do is just to format the disk. So he formatted the disk. He had been summoned to come by 6 a.m. in the morning. He formatted and he was paid 6,000. He is now also under arrest, although I'm wondering what crime he has really committed, because he was just called and asked by a customer to do something. How was he supposed to be knowing what are the contents of, or if he was doing anything to conceal a crime? But anyway, he was arrested by IPOA. And the other suspect who has been arrested is Mr. Mukwana, who was the person who was in charge of the police station. He was the sentry at the time, so his son was having the keys for the cells and all that. And when Ojwang came the first time, he was just put generally understanding, just normal cell. And then now another narrative emerged from an informant who talked to the Star newspaper on condition of anonymity. And the person said that Ojwang was taken out of the station and taken to Karura Forest at around maybe around 9 or thereabouts. And he was taken to Karura Forest by some police officers or some people who are security people, and one was a senior police officer who even had his own driver. Of course, people are speculating it's sure he wouldn't want to implicate himself. So they took him to the forest from around 9:30 there up to about 1. So those are about 4 hours where they were trying to torture him. And we are asking ourselves, why were they trying to torture him? If it was killing, they wanted to kill him, they could have killed him within an hour. Such extensive that he was being tortured. So it seems there's information which they were trying to extract out of him through torturing him. And this information is who was giving him the information about what the inspector or what the DIG owns, and the amount of money that he collects from bribes daily, and those kinds of things. Probably accidentally or even maybe not accidentally, the man went into a coma and was then rushed back to the according now to the account of the witness who I'm telling you, was rushed to the city again to the police station. And when he was rushed, of course he was in a bad state, and the OCS was not there at that time. So he was called in to be consulted whether they should admit the guy because of the situation he was in. I understand they did enter another entry which is abnormal in the OB book at around that 2 o'clock, but they took him to Mbagathi Hospital. And on arriving at Mbagathi Hospital, they pronounced him to have died a few, so it had taken some time. He did not die on arrival. He was already dead by the time they were taking him. Yeah. So, of course, Kenyans have been talking about resigning, stepping down, and all these things. But you see, the DIG cannot really be linked in any way to this murder, because all he did was to go and launch a complaint to the DCI that his name is being defamed. That's all he did. So whatever now came and happened afterwards, there is no real tangible way of connecting him to that. It's only it is only by speculation or circumstantial that, oh, he's the one who was complaining about this guy and now the guy has died, so he should be a person of interest. That's not necessarily true. Yeah, you can do something to me and I take you to a police station to go and report you, or I decide to report you wherever I want, or you do anything wrong to me and I seek redress. The next thing, when you maybe I get a lawyer, we go to court or those kinds of things, person of interest. Does not want to step down, because, and even the IG has supported him, that unless there is some information which is implicating him negatively, he will not be required to resign. So that one is off the hook. I don't think that we are going to see him anywhere near this case in terms of paying. Of course, the other officers, once they have realized the magnitude of things, of course, 14 officers already interdicted, so they're earning half salary, but the OCS and the sentry who was there on the material day, I think it's now began to dawn on them the magnitude of the act which they were, they were being accused of. And now, like Mr. Makwana came out to say through his lawyer, Dansan Omari, that he's being targeted because he's not a Kalenjin. And then, sorry, the other one, Mr. Talaam, who is the OCS, had and switched off his phone and gone into some kind of hiding in Eldoret, whereby he was nabbed today. So he was arrested today. So to be very honest, if you look at this thing, there is no way that even two people can manage to torture somebody for 4 hours. This had to be a substantial group of people, or a substantial number of people. But as you can see, DCI has completely distanced himself, as almost all stakeholders. So the people now who have been left there is the CCTV technician, the sentry, that is Mukwana, and then the OCS. The OCS has also tried to shift blames by saying that he was not even in the station, he had to be called in, so he doesn't know what happened and all these kinds of things. So we have those people. I don't know whether this talking they're talking now might lead them to be harmed, because if they look like they're really talking, and they may divulge the truth, even them, they can be eliminated. They are not safe as well. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't see them getting any more suspects than that. I highly doubt it, because they're just tricking the bare minimum of what they can get, and the soft targets. So even if there were other people who went to Karura to torture this guy, as per the report of that man who gave the story to this, there's nothing really that is going to. I mean, it's just, and Kenyan cases, murder cases, they take about 7 years. So if the case is taking 7 years and you are out on bond most of the time, it's only later on we'll have even forgotten about the case. after 7 years is when we are seeing you in the newspaper that now you have been convicted, you know. Mm? So, yeah, that's the condition of our country. It's very sad. But it has also been a very opening experience to understand the type of rogue police elements that we're having. The other time, a while back, Kakavulundi was complaining very seriously that he was being harassed for trying to make some reforms in the police, the police force, and to the extent that he was sent a severed human head to threaten him. So this institution called the police force, really they are rotten to the core. And so there has to be a complete overhaul. Otherwise, if we keep up with this, I don't know where we are headed as a country, to be very honest. I'm not seeing a very bright future with this kind of a police force. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much for your submission. Maybe just one question or one clarification. You seem to be not seeing the direct involvement of the DIG in this matter, but he's the only complainant, not just for complaining, but it looks like it's the only person we can put on the motive, because as rogue as our policemen are and our police force could be, they will not just reach a place of hating a suspect or revisiting anger and wrath on a suspect just because he's a Luo or he's a black or he's tall. There must be a serious motive. And the real motive here is what you have alluded to in terms of the publications about the DIG and the information. Maybe further information. Where did he get this information? Who was giving him that information? And so if he is the boss of the rogue, in quotes, police, how do we exonerate him from the same?
You see, Bernard, if I bring charges against you, and then after that something happens to you, or even if I'm having some kind of feud with you and something ends up happening to you, that does not automatically make me a suspect. It doesn't automatically make me a suspect. There has to be some more substantial
it will automatically make you a suspect, but not a culprit. But you will have to prove your innocence.
Why will you have to prove your innocence? What did you do wrong?
If you threaten me, take for instance, you threaten me that you will kill me, okay? Then I'm found dead, all right? The first person to be checked by the police and interrogated will be you, because
but that is not what
you had expressed your
not the case. That is not the case, Bernard.
Your anger or something like that. Yes,
that is not what happened in this case. What happened in this case is that the deceased was publishing some, those stories in the internet, or I think on X, with the handle, he was hiding behind a pseudo, and of course the deputy IG went to the DCI chair, head, Mr. Amin, and launched a complaint. So there is nothing else. By the way, as far as this whole case is involved, the far or the length of the involvement of the DIG is going. We don't even know that he went physically, maybe just called him and complained that, excuse me, there is some strange handle here, and which I don't know, which is keeping on publishing bad things about me. And then from there, whatever happened next was instigated by the DCI. It was not instigated by the DIG. Yeah. So his only mistake is launching a complaint. In fact, he did not even he just launched a complaint. That is all. So if you launch a complaint against somebody,
You're saying
fine,
that
you
is
feel you
all.
are.
You're saying that's all, as if you have the whole story.
I'm telling you.
The DCI. No,
Bernard,
hold
I
on.
didn't have a lot of time, and there's something I wanted to say.
Order kidogo too. The DCI is under
Story
the
we have. We
DIG.
don't have any other story. That is the story which is in the. Listen, that's the story which is in the public domain, and that is the story that we have. Anything else
That's
that
what I'm saying.
could
The DCI is not independent of the office of the DIG. The DCI and the other arms of the police are under the police, the Inspector General and the Deputy Inspector General. So even the DCI moving with that swift speed to look into that case must have some kind of push from their boss. Remember what they told the Baba Albert. Tumekujia kijana yako kwa sababu alitusi mkubwa wetu.
How can you prove that?
No, that's what
how can you prove
Mzenani said.
No, Pastor Bernard.
I'm just reporting what the father Albert said.
Okay, listen, let me tell you.
Said, yes.
Okay, whatever the father said, in a court of law, or when you are looking at things legally, the part which is clear that you can say that the DIG did is launching a complaint through the DCI office. I don't know whether DCI work independently or they work which way or what, but the point is that DIG launched a complaint to DCI. He left it in the hands of DCI. DCI.
Umenigonga leo. Unaweza nipatia tu time yako kidogo.
Just wait.
Public participation, just finish your sentence and then let's have Mkenya has questions for you, then utapata nafasi nyingine ya clarify. Just hold on Lala. Mkenya ako kwa barabara, naomba tafadhali tumsaidie azigongwe. So public participation feature what you are saying in your sentence.
What I'm saying is this. So what I'm saying is this, that the only tangible kitu yenye tunaweza prove very well in terms of involvement of the DIG is that he went and launched a complaint to the DCI. What happened thereafter was done by the at the behest of at behest of DCI. DCI is the one who went to CAK to get I don't know which information. DCI in their cybercrime, whatever in DCI headquarters are the ones who did the forensics until they got the true identity. DCI are the same people who went to Homa Bay to go and pick the boy. DCI are the ones who brought him to Nairobi and now left him handed him over to Central. So when now people start saying that let Nani step down, he's stepping down for what? What has he done? What has he done? What wrong has he done, by the way? What wrong has he done?
Let Mkenya come in, please. Lala, just hold your horses, please.
Which we can, unaona? You know, there's hearsay, and then there's what we can prove. And in a court of law, what holds water is not hearsay. It is.
I get your point.
Thank you.
I get your point and what you are saying. But let's hear what Mkenya has to say on the same, then Lala will come in. Mkenya, karibu.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate everybody. This question, Yani, it's made me, and thank you, because yes, you understand. I know you know my unajua kule na kuaga sakasa is yes. I'd had even to park somewhere. Kwanza tu niingilie kitu yote because what I don't understand, and I'm gonna be very quick. I'm not gonna take so much of your times. And actually, this I've never argued against public participation because I know how articulate she is and how she brings her points. But Bernard, if there's a case in Central Police Station. There's either a litigant, I mean, if you're involved in that case, you have a point in that case. I mean, you cannot. There's no way that my name can be mentioned in Central Police Station, and I'm not either a witness, the person that did the crime or something. So now I don't understand what this thing, even though we finished it at some point, where that you can come and say that I was the accused, but I'm not the accused. It doesn't make any sense. If you're the accused, go deal with your case. If you're the accuser, become the accuser. As long as your name is coming up in that litigation, as long as your name is showing up somewhere, then you must have a point somewhere. The reason that you're accused in that, or not accused, or I mean, you have something to do with the case. So now, when we start talking about Langat should not be, why did his name come out in his name? Why did public participation's name not come out in that case? So I mean, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Kama jina yako iko hapo, we have to see and understand why it
Mkenya,
came out.
nataka kukuuliza kitu. Saizi, okay, let me ask you, if my house help steals something from my house and I go and report her to the police station that she has stolen from me, and then within a few hours she's found when she's murdered, I'm now supposed to be arrested or what?
No,
Because that's the
yes,
case which is there.
you're supposed to be subject matter of how she ended up in that police station and how she ended up to die, and she was your house help. So you can tell us Langat cannot be questioned, because even you would question you and tell you, how did your house help end up in a court? I mean, in a place where she died. It's your duty. And that is exactly why I came in, because your analogy was not really adding up when you were talking about that people Langat should not be questioned. No, if even in this show, if I'm in this show right now and something had happened and Bernard took me and said there was a court case, I mean, this guy did something and maybe that is what, yes, Bernard needs to be questioned. So you cannot come here and tell us that he shouldn't be questioned. No, he should. Everybody that is mentioned in that case
but
should
what is he being questioned?
Okay, let's have some order, please.
Just a second.
Yes, Lala. Quickly, please. Yes.
Yes. Public participation. I think the issue here is this DCI people went to Homa Bay on the strength of what? On the one who was complaining of what happened to his character, whatever is that this person did A, B, C, D. So already the very fact that he had gone to Homa Bay, and the reason why the father handed the son over is because of that complaint. So the motive itself is Langat. Okay, so Langat is at the center of it all. So questioning him is logical, because the motive, if people are asked who could have had a motive for killing this man, Langat name is there. So asking him, or is not convicted, but him as someone to come in and help resolve the problem, he has to be there. So I don't see why he should not be questioned. He is at the center of it all. Back to you, Bernard.
Thank you, Lala. I think you brought the question home. Sorry, I was just saying, Bernard, so that I keep quiet, because I'm driving. I was just saying that I wanted to give Lala, thank you, kudos, And because that is the point that I'm bringing home. If we're in this channel here and something happens, you are a part of it. You cannot tell me that Bernard is not a part of. If I die today and I was in this channel last noon in this channel, that he cannot be questioned and what exactly happened.
Okay, thank you. And before we bring in Mama, let me just throw this in. The IG or the deputy IG are the big people as far as the police operations are concerned. And if another suspect, leave alone now Albert, another suspect died in police custody at Central Police Station, they will still be answerable. They will need to explain to the country what's happening with the police force generally. The reason why we are saying Langat needs to come out clear is because he is at the top of the police, running the affairs of the police. And having been a complainant on the matter of Albert, there are a lot that can happen under his orders, that can result into the death of this particular person. And the chain of command is available, how the orders are given. And there is also a law that says the people that execute the order should not just be the ones to be held responsible in case something goes wrong. The person who gives order also needs what? To be held responsible. So what needs to be investigated here, in my opinion, is there any evidence that proves that the actions that took place at Central Police Station, did they have any order from him? Because like the rumors that are around there is that the people came, they were acting under orders. So all we need to do is ascertain that. Is there any linkage to these two? If they do, then Langat has a case to answer. But we cannot just say he has nothing to answer. The investigations are still
underway. He has nothing to answer. He never gave any orders. Even the...
How do you say he never gave any orders?
That is very
true. You are his spokesman.
No. He did not. You see, even for the boy to be picked from Homa Bay, he did not give any order. Yeye kazi yenye alifanya ni only one thing. He went and made a complaint.
Public participation, we cannot say
that. Mimi naweza enda kwa police station ni report tu.
Except working in the DIG's office, or you have some.
No, I'm just saying, Nani Bernard, you people are trying to put it. People are trying to put
participation. How many orders? Public participation. How many orders have you ever made in a police station and somebody had to go get picked up from Homa Bay, or not even Homa Bay? You know what? From Kawangware to be brought into Nairobi Central Station. How many people do you meet in a police station making complaints every day? Please stop playing with our mind. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not. But I'm not playing with your mind.
No. But
all what I'm saying is this, and I'm talking in legal terms. And tutapea mama, I'm just talking in legal terms that mukienda kwa court of law, ama mkae chini kwa anything to do with something legal, mutaulizwa aje, what did you do DIG? Nilienda kwa Amin, nika report that kuna mtu mwenye ananitusi kwa internet, bas, that is what I did. Now what happened thereafter, mimi sijui, I have no involvement. This year ndio alifanya everything else from there up to the point of kufika Central Police Station. Alafu zenye zilifanya whatever happened now in Central Police Station, hata hiyo you cannot link me with anything. Is there anything you can link me with? Nothing other than me going to complain to. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you.
The public participation, thank you for that. And we are simply saying investigations are still underway. Remember, there are 17 phone numbers that they are going to look for logs, that this Mukhwana was in constant communication while these things were taking place in Central Police Station. So maybe the revelations from these phone call logs, there could come something, but I can only speak for me and speak for people that I speak for. But for the DIG, mimi siwezi kunini. Naomba hivi tumsikilize mama, alafu Lala unakuja. Masadio hayo tafadhali. Mami, karibu. Please. Hold on.
Asante sana, Penat. It is really interesting. Nimekuwa nikisikiza mpaka nikaona wacha niingie. One, participation amesema kitu. Kasi ya tuko na police, tuko na shady officers. Kuna kesi ukienda report kwa police, police wanakuambia hiyo kesi si yetu, enda kwa shady. Kwa sababu nyinyi yote ni watu mumejua sheria. So mambo ya hiyo crime hiyo ya criminal na hizo kama ya cyber crime ni kasi ya shady. Alafu tuko na mkubwa ya shady, tuko na mkubwa ya police which is now Langat, na tuko na Inspector General mwenye ana overall. Participation amesema hivi, umeenda ku-launch complaint. Then DCI wakachunguza, wakapata yale ilipatikana. Wakaenda Homa Bay, wakachukua, wakampata akiwa nyumbani. Ndio, wakasema tumekuja, tunatafuta kijana, na mimi jina yangu naitwa fulani, na mimi naitwa fulani. Na wakaenda kwa ile police station ya hiyo area. Wakafika Nairobi. Baka wanasema walisimama barabara wakakunywa masiwa wherever. Nao kuna kitu moja tunauliza. Huyu mwenye alikuwa na kifunguo ya cell wakati alianza kuripoti. Ile kitu tungeuliza ni kwamba lazima kukue mtu ameshikwa, na hata nilisikia Inspector General alisema hivyo. Sasa huyu mwenye alishikwa, askari alikuwa na kifunguo ya cell. Wenye walikuwa kwa OP wote saa hiyo mpaka OCS. OCS, kwa sababu sijasikia OCBD kwa hii kesi hata ikitajwa, isipokuwa wakati baba ya marehemu akisema alipelekwa kwa OCBD. That is where alipata information mtoto yake amekufa. Penat.
Mami, with all due respect, hakuna DCI.
Mkenya, hold your horses, please.
Si lazima si umeongea. Tunasema sisi yote tunauliza ya kwamba hawa watu wote wametachwa. End of the day itakuja kujulikana. Uwezi sema mimi sasa nimesaa mtoto mwisi. Siwezi kuja uwawa kwa sababu mtoto yangu ni mwisi, ama mimi nilimtuma aenda uwe. So hii mambo ya Langat tutangoja wale wote wameshikwa. Huyu mungwana ama sijui anaitwa nani atasema aliakti kwa nani. Huyu OCS anasema amekuwa sacrifice lamb. Asikue sacrifice, yeye atarudi pia ataongea, aseme nilipata simu kwa DCI, nilipata simu kwa Langat. Akasema hapana, msimuache kwa cell, muende muue, itajulikana. Lakini kusema ati ushikwe kwa sababu wewe ulienda kuripoti, watu ngapi wameripoti crimes kwa Kenya na hatujaisikia ati mwenye mlalamishi anashikwa. Mlalamishi atashikwa wakati atakuwa amehusika. Kama yeye kama Langat alipiga simu, itajulikana. kama alituma driver yake, wale hakuna mtu siku hizi Kenya anakufa kifo ya mtu. Lakini kusema ati sasa lazima ashikwe kwa... Inspector General alisema akitachwa ata resign, ata step aside. Lakini mpaka sasa watu wawili wameanza kushikwa. Nasikia kuna wawili wamefunga masimu wachapatikana, mpaka wote wakuje ndiye tusikie. Lakini iwezi kuwa ati kwa sababu yeye ni mkubwa pale aende tu aambiwe toka kwa sababu uliripoti. Where is justice? Tunataka justice ya ule amekufa, na tunataka justice ya wale pia wanafanya kazi. Na kama wewe ulitumiwa na ukaenda kupigana mpaka ukaua, utalipa. Na kwa sahi Kenya kwanza iko mambo mingi sana. Sahi mnaongea kuhusu Langat na huyu anaitwa china yake ni ngumu. Hile machina ilisemwa na IPOA. Hiyo watu yote walitachwa OC crime kwa sababu kabla hujafika kwa OCBD kuna ule OCS, kuna OC crime. Kuna OC crime hapa ametachwa. Kuna watu 5 ama 6 wametachwa. Wenye walikuwa that time. Hawa ndio watatuambia. Kila mtu ule wametachwa atasema mimi nilikuwa OC crime, nikapata simu kutoka fulani, nikataka kutoka fulani, I hacked because of this. Nashukuru kwa sababu inasema kikwetu inasema damu haiwezi enda mahali haiko. Kama umemwaka damu, hakika itakufuata hata kama unachificha. Kama Langat amehusika kwa kukuja kwa kuteswa kwake baada ya kushikwa, anafaa afutwe, na hata si kufutwa aende chela. Lakini kama ni mlalamishi amelalamika ati kwa sababu ulilalamika, sasa kwa sababu nani mbaya, sitaki kusema hivyo, chumini mama, tuko na watoto. But uwezi enda piga mlalamaji ati kwa sababu makosa imepatikana penalty. Hii siasa ya Kenya hatutapona kwa sababu tunaingilia sites. Sasa kama ni hivyo, tunaambiwa, nilisikia mimi sijui, kuna part plat kati ya inaitwa nani, Inspector General na huyu tribute yake. Kuna wale wanasema anaotea kiti yake, hata mimi nilisikia wewe pena tukisema ati Inspector General ya police wako na terms, wako na miaka. Si ati wanakuwa Inspector General mpaka wa retire. Kuna viti hapo chui na time. So kama kuna kitu kama hiyo, na sasa kwa sababu kuna hiyo that blood mbaya, na kama kuna mtu katikati tena alitaka kutumia hiyo nafasi afanye kitendo mbaya, Mungu wa sahi halali. Kuna mhubiri nimesikia akiongea Kenya, na mimi nikasema nimefurahia. We need the truth. Lakini uwezi kufa makosa si yako. Uliripoti na we ni kama kila mtu. Hata we sahi pena tutaripoti kesi. Ungoje ikifika kotini na ndio watu wameshikwa. Haya, CCTV kamera ile ilikuwa imeharibiwa, imepatikana. Hapo ndio tunataka kujua.
Bernard, Mami is saying very well, but my biggest thing before I leave, the thing is, Mom, thank you so much, and I respect you so much. You see, we have a very bad cultism in Kenya, and a thing that we talk about, we see a crime, but we want to justify a crime. I asked Bernard, and you remember me asking what the day that happened in our group, who kati yenu anaweza jigonga kwa kichwa, kujigongisha kwa ukuta to die all the way to death, utasikia utungu. So now when we see this nonsense,
So Subiri Mami, we are coming back to you. Just let him finish his point, then you pick it. Mkenya tafadhali, keep it short.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll do so because you know I'm on the road. So when we see a crime, let's not try to justify anything to be a crime. And Mom has asked very well, how many reports, and even today, if you go to Central, not even Central, go to Buruburu, in police station, because I lived there. How many people are reporting something? And if someone is reporting, now we cannot justify a crime by saying, oh, it's because it's due. I don't know. I don't want to say the name, or someone who is on a mamlaka or something. First of all, we have jurisdictions, and maybe this is a good thing that we understand that a police whose jurisdiction is in Nairobi cannot go to Kisumu and go arrest someone there while you have all those courts. So Bernard, I think that's what it is for me. As maybe I might come back later, but all I'm trying to say is that let's not to try and justify a crime that is not there, or even justify jurisdiction, because I was following, and they were talking about that the case was recorded in Nairobi, and that's why he had to be brought in Nairobi. No, he is under the jurisdiction of Homa Bay. Even you, Bernard, you are under the jurisdiction of Nairobi. Maluko, I know where you are. Lakini, you are under that jurisdiction. You cannot be taken there without extrajudicial. You report that you're going to take someone else, and you go to court and you say you want to be extradition. You cannot be extradited from Kisumu all the way to Nairobi without having actually due diligence of saying that you don't want to be tried in Kisumu. And that is the problem, and that is where I will not agree with anyone that says that even though it was reported in Nairobi that he needed to be brought to Nairobi.
Kenya Mkora, one question. Kasi ya polisi ama kasi ya shady? Kwa sababu itafika mahali tunataka kujua. Unajua tunasema kama raia, lakini kuna ile hata waliulizwa. Ndiye sababu walimshika na wakampeleka kwa police station ya kwake. Wakaripoti kwa OCS. Wakasema tumemkuchia. Na akamwambia baba yake ufuate sisi haraka mpaka police station.
Lakini mami, I'm making a point, and I'm not trying to step from Tumbaya. No,
Kenya, wait for the question before you respond. Why are you interfering with
it is not, you are not making a point.
Swali alafu ujibu tafadhali.
Tunasema tunafuata protocol ya police ama protocol ya anywhere. Watu wameenda mpaka nyumbani kwao. Wamepata kijana akikula ama na mama, na wakamwambia sisi ni fulani, ndio hii pati yetu, sisi ni police shady, tumetumwa. Lakini hawakumchukua kijana na wakaenda direct Nairobi. Wakamwambia baba utufuate haraka. Wakamfuata mpaka police station ya kwao. From there the same people wakamwambia baba yake tunampeleka Nairobi. Utufuate ama ufuate, make sure umekuja Central. Na tulisikia huyo kijana akiongea na mwenzake kwa gari. Akimwambia
Mama, hiyo ndio sikubalie na hiyo kabisa, manake hiyo ni injustice mbaya sana.
Hata nchi ambayo
tuko naye,
ni hivyo lala.
Order, you people.
Bernard,
can we please wait for somebody? Mama is asking a question. No, she has not even asked the question. We are answering. What are we answering now? let her finish what she's saying. We are confusing our audience, and of course, creating
But we also want to know which judge allowed the extradition of from another place to be taken to the other place. That's what we are asking, me and Lala.
It was in the Senate.
It was in the Senate.
Let's
finish my thought.
Nimalize nikisema.
Please.
Mama.
Namaliza nikisema Lala.
Mama. Mimi nasema hivi. Wajua hata pale ambapo
please, you guys, can we have some order? Just relax. Tumeongea tu vizuri. Wacha mama malize swali lake, alafu utajibu.
Nimeuliza hivi Penat.
Yes.
Maana ya kukuwa na OP, maana ya kukuwa na sheria, kwa sababu najua police wawezi act with ignorance. Wako na sheria pia yao. Na kwa sababu nikasema hivi, wametoka Nairobi. Wameenda mpaka nyumbani kwa suspect. Wameshika yeye. Hawakuingia kwa gari na kupotea. Waliambia Musasi utufuate. Wakaenda wakapuk kwa obi ya kwao. Ikasemekana tumemchukua kwa sababu amefanya. Nao ukisema angestakiwa Homa Bay ama amepita hii kaunti yote. Nauliza kwa sheria ya polisi, na hata si polisi, kwa sababu kuna kesi ya police Penat, na kuna kesi ya shady ya crime, cyber crime. Yale unasikia shady ndio hakuna polisi anatoka Nairobi. Polisi la anaitwa police officer aende mpaka Homa Bay kushika mtu huko. Watu wenye wameruhusiwa kwa sheria ni watu ya shady, wanakukuchia everywhere. Ni kama wale na we, okay, actually we Lala ni askari, we ni army, we ni nini, lakini ukweli lazima tuseme ya kwamba kasi ya shady na kasi ya polisi ni kasi mbili tofauti. Kasi ya cheshu, kila mtu wako na laini yake. Sasa tukiuliza, na ndiye sababu Penat, kuna vitu aita turuti kwa referendum ama kwa sababu ya 2010 constitution. Kuna vitu kama sisi wananchi atujui. Sasa mimi nina hakika kusema, why are you taking me? Kwa nini usinichukue hapa? Lakini tukitaka kuchukulia sheria
then we need a CID office. We need a CID office in Kisumu.
Order. Let's do this. Mami, I think kesi ya iko kwa kuchukuliwa kwa Albert. Sahi kesi iko kwa kifo cha Albert.
Mimi najua
hiyo kukuja iko na maswali yake, lakini sahi tunaangalia link ya Deputy Inspector General na kifo cha Albert. Na kama vile unavyoeleza, ulazima wa kusafirishwa kutoka Homa Bay mpaka Central. Hao wakaambia baba awafuate. Hiyo is within the framework. Of course, mtu wako akishikwa si utamfuata. Kile kinachosumbua wa Kenya ni wakati baba anafika asubuhi, anaambiwa yule kijana walimshika wakati alikuwa mzima amekufa. Na amekufia nini? Kwa mikono ya polisi ndani ya police station.
Na ndiye sababu amekufia police station. Ule reporting officer mwenye alireceive Selina kwa police ni Joseph. Mwenye alipuk Selina akamweka cell, walikuwa wawili. Mwenye kifunguu ile nimewekwa cell na anafunga, anaenda na kifunguu, ndiye maungwana. Haya, baada ya kutolewa ndiye hapo sasa mahali kisunguti iko. Mwenye alipiga simu tena, shady wanasema tulimulete musima tukaandova na tukaandika kwa OP ya kwamba tumelete, na tukampatia simu apigie pipi yake. Akasema tumefika Nairobi salama, niko kwa polisi. Hiyo story ikaishia hapo. Puking officer mwenye alipuk na kumweka cell na kuchukua kifunguu na arudi afungue hiyo ndiye sasa, hapo ndiye mahali mambo inaanza penalty ya kwamba wewe ulitoa saa ya kuenda kuchapa. Ndio huyu OCS anasema alipigiwa simu manane ati huyu mtu ni mbaya sana, tufanye nini? Yeye atatuambia. Mwenye alipeana kama ni huyo Langat alitoana mtu ama kuna mtu alikuwa nje akingoja. Hapo ndiye sasa tunangojea sisi yote tujue wewe uliletwa ukaingia salama. Nani alikutoa ndani? Wewe mwenye ulikuwa na kifunguu ya cell ulifungua, nani alikuauthorize? Yeye atuambie tu ameshikwa.
Okay, sawa. I think that's clear enough. Naomba tushikilie hapo kwa sababu ya muda. Lala, ulikuwa unasemaje? Haraka.
Asante Bernard. Mama, na Kenya Mkora, it's good to see you there. Mama, yani wajua investigation unaanza big wide, yani una kila mtu ambao uko ndani hapo unawachukua wote. In fact, kuita Langat ni kumsaidia, manake yeye ndiye alianzisha the whole issue, naona. So in investigation jina lake lazima iwe ndani, sio kwamba ashikwe, but he has to report, he has to be interrogated, okay? Because all the people should be, you don't uwezi focus on one person yule alibeba kifunguo without looking at hiyo kubwa kabisa. Yani unaweka hiyo tent kubwa ili sasa ndio unaanza kuwatoa polepole, lakini unaonekana kwamba watu wengine washatolewa, na hii ndio shida ya Kenya. Watu wanaingia na wale na Talaam. Talaam may not be the issue. Okay, Talaam, whatever it, yeah. So you put unaweka kapu kubwa kabisa na jina zote itakuwa zikule ndani. Sasa ndio unaanza kufanya nini? Kwa hoji wote, ndio inasaidia. Mara ya pili, kile nilikuwa nasema ni hivi, wajua hata nchi hapa tunaishi kuna ile inaitwa jury trial. Jury trial inatuambia kwamba mtu anapatiwa, yani pale ambapo alipo ndio anakuwa na support, anakuwa na lawyers. Sasa ukichukua mtu kama huyo kijana hajaishi Nairobi na umemondoa huko kuleta yeye Nairobi na hata siwa hapo, sasa atafanya nini? Atadefend yeye mwenyewe namna gani? Okay, manake that is already injustice. So the thing is, DCI offices ziko kila pahali. Kuna moja huko Homa Bay, wanakuja wanafungua kesi hapo alafu inamalizika hapo. Okay, mara third point ni huyu baba alipeana mtoto wake kwa sababu aliambiwa ametusi mkubwa. Sasa baba ambaye anatii sheria, kuna vile akizungumza anajua huyu mtapenda sheria, sasa animpatia serikali yake mtoto wake ili amalize hiyo kazi, ili aaje, manake alikuwa anajua mtoto wake. So alimpatia on the strength, ni mkubwa, you can't wezi kuharibu jina ya mkubwa, nenda na yeye malize na yeye huko, anapenda mtoto wake, naona. Sasa alikuwa muamini nani? Wao, huyu alikuwa na serikali ilikuja kuchukua kijana wake. So I think niyo huyu dada yetu alisema kwamba Langat hana inawezi kujibu maswali ama kuwa interrogated. Ni lazima huyu is one of them. Na shida ya Kenya ni hivi.
Lala, kama ni hivyo,
ngoja, shida ya Kenya ni hivi, wakubwa onekana they are above the law. Hiyo ndio shida yetu. Wanakuwa, they are not interrogated, nobody questions them, so you want us to leave them in their place. But if the law is the law, let everyone be the same. I think itasaidia hata huyo Langat kama hakushughulika naye, ni sawa tu, lakini kusema Mkwana na Talaam ndio wako pale, you really zero in on them alone, that to me, I don't accept it because people don't see it as justice. Make it wide ili
So
tuone
then,
kwamba justice inafanyika. Sijui
sasa
kama
Lala,
nimeeleweka. Back to you.
Sasa Lala, kama ni namna hiyo, kabla hatujaenda Talaam, mwenye alipeana
Bernard, I'd like to answer
information
something on that.
kushike mtu ya shady, kwa sababu mwenye alipeana
No,
order
mami ongea kwa heshima, lakini Bernard, I'd like to add on what nani amesema.
You are coming from Kenya. Just hold on. Mami, please keep it brief.
Mimi nimesema hivi Bernard. Mwenye alitoa Langat alilalamika, akalalamikia shady. Mtu ya shady akaenda kulete kijana. So mwenye anatakikana basi kushikwa kwanza, kwa nini ulimtoa Homa Bay mpaka Nairobi, ni mtu ya shady. Si wale wadogo. Tushike sasa ule mkubwa alisema mulete Nairobi. Kwa sababu kwa mkono yake ndiye alitoka Migori. Hakutoka Migori kwa sababu mkono ya Langat. Alitoka Migori kwa sababu ya shady, mkubwa ya shady.
Ni sawa, tunakubaliana hapo, ni sawa wote. Yaani hao wote.
So ile kitu tunataka ndiye tukue chachu wazuri.
Kwamba ni kuwashika, they have to
wewe umefanya churi, wewe umefanya churi
lazima ionekane.
Sasa wewe unasema hivi, kabla hatujaenda Langat, mwenye alilalamika, mwenye alitumana ni Nur, ni shady. Shady hawana seli yao. Seli ya shady yote, ukishikwa na shady unaletwa kwa polisi. Sasa mtu mwenye tunalaumu, sasa tunaambiwa Nur, wewe ulituma watu yako. Kwa nini hukumpeleka Kisumu ama Kisii ama Nakuru? Ulitaka afikishwe Nairobi. Sasa yeye atatuambia hapana. Langat aliniambia enda umchukue. Wewe ni mkubwa Bernard. Uko na pastor, wewe ni reverend. Reverend mwingine anakuambia pastor, wewe leo enda funga ile kanisa ya huko. Bila kumuuliza swali, unaenda kufunga kanisa. Saa ile makosa imefanyika na alikuambia na mdomo, anakuambia we ni reverend kama mimi. You hacked on your mouth. So kama tunataka kufuata ukweli Lala, vile unasema, I agree. Mwenye alienda kushika yeye ni mtu ya shady. Mwenye kulalamika ni Langat. Mwenye kukuja kuact ni shady Nur na officers yake. Wenye hata saa hii hawajaandika report, na ndio watu wanauliza Inspector General wakati makosa imefanyika alisimamisha watu yake yote, akasema step aside. Kutoka OCS hiyo group yote wakaambiwa tokeni kulingana na vile. Hiyo ni Inspector General. Wewe mtu ya shady yenye ulitumana na aliulizwa hata kwa parliament, watu walienda chukua hiyo watu wako wapi na ni kina nani? Apart from Sitei na mmoja alijitambua kwa Musasi.
Mama, DCI is a department ya police force, police service.
No. Lala, no.
Order, please. Order.
Bernard, you're muzzling me every time I come in. You're muzzling me.
All of you, thank you. Please, we are even time bad. Mami, it is what Lala is saying is true. The DCI and the other department of the police are all under the police in the Inspector General. Those are the highest of office bearers, except for the KDF. Lakini masuala mengine NIS, DCI, and the other police forces, they are all under Inspector General in the command chain. So as much as the deputy DCI goes to make a complaint, which is illegal. There's nothing wrong with making a complaint or filing a case. That is in his capacity as a citizen. Hiyo inakubalika. Lakini that pia does not remove him from being mkubwa. Ni kama Bishop vile umesema, Bishop ameniambia niende kufunga kanisa ama pastor fulani alimtusi. Okay? Nimuite kwa kanzo ile inadili na misbehavior ka church to move straighten out. Okay? Then Bishop has complained as a member, and then we put this pastor under disciplinary. But in the process of disciplinary, mambo yanaenda kombo. We will still ask Bishop, okay? Tumeita huyo pastor na amekataa kukuja. Okay? Tufanyeje? So Bishop will still give us directive despite the fact that he is a complainant. That does not remove him from the officers, the general overseer of our ministry. So kuna mambo hapa ambayo lazima tu balance, lakini in the interest of time, wacha Mkenya mkora atoe point yake. Tafadhali, let's work hard. It's 20 minutes after 2 a.m. na mimi niko hapa kinyume cha daktari. Sitaki kukaa sana. Mkenya mkora.
Thank you. Umenikanyagia kidogo, lakini no, it's good, and I like how Nani Lala has brought, and how you how you've brought it up. I think, Mom, I think there's a problem with when you hear Langat. No, but the thing is that we need now actually to bring it to where we ask ourselves.
No, don't put things on my mouth. Langat, I know Langat is called Langat. Don't say I have a problem because he's called Langat. You want now to put me like I'm a Kalenjin, so I'm defending you.
Order,
No,
take it
Bernard,
easy.
you cannot allow somebody
Ngoja
to
tafadhali. Naomba tukue na conversation. Let's not have a fight.
But why is he saying ati nikisikia china Langat?
Subiri ndio ajieleze sasa. Umeuliza swali. Wacha kujibu. Why is he saying that? Let him explain. Thank you. Hold your horses, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me move away from that. But the thing is that what I'm trying to say is that maybe we might have a problem of, because I was looking at the budget, Mr. Chair, Bernard, and our chair here. I was looking at the budget, actually the budget that they just passed 3 days ago. And when you look at the budget that is going to the police service and DCI and all this we are talking about, which we know is not the military, because the military is on another whole different level. Thus, they don't even share these things. But you can see that we're giving what they were doing, the supplementary budget that they were passing with actually 20 MPs in parliament. The eyes have it. They passed at least 56 billion. Now, when you talk about 56 billion to the police service, and then you want to come here in this show and tell me that we don't have a DCI, whatever you want to call it, or a police station, or a jurisdictional place, and even extraditing laws that tells you if I'm in Machakos, I should be charged in Machakos unless I'm extradited, and there need to be a judge, a lawyer, and someone that passed that law for, passed that thing for me to be extradited all the way to Nairobi. Then that budget needs to be cut, not even by half, all the way. Your budget nafaa kutoka yote, because then it doesn't make any sense to even have that police station. And maybe is the reason that we had someone actually open up his own police station. Because if you have no jurisdiction of where you are to be taken somewhere else, and then you come here in this show and tell us that it's okay for DCI to come and drive all the way, yet they've used our own taxes to come all the way down there to bring you here, and no one is answerable. In fact, not even Langat that is being defended here. Even the judge that actually, we need to know which judge is is actually supposed to be on that jurisdiction that allowed one of their people to be extradited all the way to Nairobi, and we need to know who fueled that car, that Subaru that you call Subarus, who fueled it, and what budget they used, and who paid for it, and where they fueled it. Sijui kama ni Gigiri, maybe Bernard, I know you've used that road mara mingi. Sijui kama walipitia pale hivyo Delamere wakaeka mafuta hapo. We need to know who actually fueled that for all the way to Makutano, Kisii. Sijui kama walipita Kisii ama Kericho, wherever they pitied, to go and also travel all the way. So this is a nonsense, Bernard. People, we are as Kenyans, we are tired about it, and it goes back, Bernard. And that's why I was really trying, because I wanted to bring the logical part of it. The fact that we did Majimbo Nanini and we became devolved. Is the reason we are talking about kutolewa kwa county yako, because now we have counties that have courts. So then kama DCI ni iko Nairobi peke yake, then that means then we need to actually get some DCI somewhere in Kisumu, somewhere in Kericho, somewhere in Machakos, somewhere else, so that you don't have to be brought to Nairobi to only tell us that mtu alijigonga kichwa kwa nini akakajua. Then I can bet you ukijigonga mara mbili kwa kichwa hivi utaacha kujigonga. I can tell you always jigonga mara nne, utaishi hapo.
Sawa, get your point. Thank you very much. And maybe just Nini, as we begin to wrap up, clarifications. The reason why this case is emotive and it is raising red flags is from that perspective. DCI is devolved, and including police stations, and they are all intertwined. If I commit something in Nairobi, then I run to Navajo, the police don't have to chase me from Nairobi all the way to Navajo. They just need to call the headquarters in Kakamega. Kakamega will trace Navajo police station. The tracking system will locate my Sienga village, and I'll be picked by the police of Navajo, then handed over to the police that are looking for me. The issue of the DCI people traveling all the way to Migori is suspicious. Then the mustness, ulazima, wao kurudi na yule suspect up to Nairobi, and then the suspect is found dead, is where question marks are being raised. If it is just a normal case, a normal complaint, they can organize that on phone. Call the Mawengu police station. The OCPD of Mawengu police station will go and locate Albert. Albert will be arrested and kept at where? At Mawengu, and then the case will be looked at. So this thing, from what Willie said here, it wasn't an enforcement of law. It was an execution. Get the person. When the person comes in, what happens? Let him be exterminated. And that is why we are saying the complainant in this particular case, and having been the boss or the deputy boss of the police, leaves a lot to be desired. And that's why we shouldn't brush it off and say he's just a complainant. He only complained. We can't say for sure that he only complained. From the fact that police walitoka na gari ya polisi ikawekwa mafuta, waka travel all the way to Migori, get the suspect, travel with him all the way to Nairobi the same day. raises a lot to be desired. And then why was it so urgent? Because the publication has already been done. The circulation of the application has already been done. If there is character assassination has already taken place. What was so urgent that huyu mtu amepatikana anakula, amebebwa hiyo afternoon, apelekwa police station, arudishwe Nairobi the same night, and by the following day he's dead? There is a lot that is playing around here that we need to accept, to look into. Let's not block it by saying we alifanya to complain peke yake. There is much that happens behind the scenes that we don't have access to. But with the investigations and of course with what is happening, we pray and hope that we'll get to the bottom of this. But if we want to play this like we played with Musando, we played with Jacob Juma, and we play with other cases of people losing their lives, we have not forgotten the what was the name of the two or three police officers that died in mysterious ways in the deputy president and then office. A lot is happening in this country. We can't allow ourselves to be locked into defending an individual or executing an individual.
You're talking about the Harambee Annex, the Harambee Annex, the police that was near to Harambee Annex and Imaradaima. I know the ones you're talking about.
There were two. And so these things that are happening and where the police are involved, we have kept off that. Kusema hiyo si ya kwetu, hao ni polisi wenyewe. Lakini sasa mahali imefika, lazima maswali tuanze kuuliza na tushinikize tupate ukweli. Is it orders from above or it is police misbehaving by themselves? Na kama huyu polisi mnasema alikuwa na ufunguo, huo ufunguo polisi, hakuna polisi anafanyanga kazi Kenei, yes, Kenei, thank you for reminding me. Hakuna polisi anafanyanga kazi bila anataka. All junior police officers do things according to order. Na kulingana vile history inaenda, kulikuwa na orders zingine after orders. Najua ile mikutano inakuanga mkutano after mkutano. So the way things are being portrayed, if we go for the truth, there were some things that happened between the time DCI dropped Albert and when Albert was found dead. Many things took place. And those things is what we need to come up. The CCTV has something to do with what took place while the DCI had gone. What is the interest? And then, of course, with technology, hata kama umefuta, we can reverse that and get the pictures. So nobody should be saying that, oh, the CCTV has done this and that. Then, of course, even if ile ya police station ilikuwa imechukuliwa, there are buildings around. They have their CCTV. We can trace which vehicle came in at that time and left. Who was the occupant in that vehicle and all that. That is Central Police Station. There is the Delta Hotel on the other side. There is another serious building on the other side. There is, of course, University of Nairobi on the other side. I don't think we can be void of gathering the information.
Jacob Juma, we even realized he was not in his car by himself, and we even went down to know he had a lady in the car. So how comes we cannot see these CCTVs all the way from Kisumu, all the way from Homa Bay, all the way to Pitia Nakuru, and we cannot even get one CCTV footage that shows how many people were in that car? Yet, Ata Jacob Juma himself, even Musando, the one that you're talking about, it showed up. Bernard, please, I'm sorry. Nimejam.
So we will get to the bottom of this and we pray for the truth to come out. Now, we want to begin to close. Big J hapa anasema the big problem we have in this government is using Mamluki. Moi was using youth for Kanu. Kibaki used police Mamluki. So to
Amen.
solve the killings of Kenya. Hey, yes, Lala, what is it? See, yani mwezi ngoja nisome comment.
My problem here is that we want to take sides and choose whether it's the DCI or the police. I think the entire thing stinks. So the whole thing, because we are not told what happened between Homa Bay and Nairobi. It's black. We don't know. All we know, the DCI did their best. We don't know because they cannot give us time by time what transpired. Okay, the time is too large. The space of time is too large. So when all they can tell us is that the young man phoned his wife, talked to his wife, we know very well that people can talk under duress, even if they have been. I mean, they can make you do that because of the torture. If he had been tortured for a long time, he could. They could prepare him to talk, as somebody who is doing just fine because of what he's gone through. That happens all the time. If you watch a movie, you read and all that, how these people do their thing, yeah. So that alone cannot prove that he was fine, but we assume that he was fine. So everything now should be under scrutiny. The DCI, the police, everything. So this idea you can't talk to this person, no, everything. And this is why in this country that I live in, the US, if there is a shooting, whether it is justified, that day you hand over your gun, you're going home. Mama Selina Najua and Matua Najua, you go home till you are cleared. There's a body that will look at how that thing happened. It may be justified that somebody shooting at you, you shoot back. Still, they have to look at it. So this idea that we can have people dead, and yes, some people should not be, questioned because either they are higher or they are this and that. No, everyone, kila mmoja wao lazima fanya nini? Ahojiwe, okay, ili tujue ukweli kabisa kile kilifanyika. So all the parties. In fact, it looks like there's a war between DCI and the police, okay? And so probably you need somebody more independent. But I got question mark. DCI and police, they're the same thing. So that's my problem. Back to you.
And actually, it's a good thing that now report are coming in to talk.
Let's tie this thing together. Don't forget the revelations by, okay, of course, the Star newspaper, we can't rely on it completely, but there is that issue about Albert being collected in the deep night and then being brought back. So that is unprocedural. Something that took place. If what they are reporting is anything to go by, then the DCI could have kept Albert in the police cell when he's fine, handed him over when he's fine. Then in the deep night, the dark forces went to do their evil. And that their evil that resulted into this. And that's what needs to be investigated, because that cannot be booked. That you already taken, like you already in there. You have already been booked procedurally. Then somebody violates that by coming to steal you from the police cell, goes to torture you and bring you back out of procedure, just like nyinyi mama mkienda visitation ya mtoto wenu, there is the legal way ya wewe kurudi nyumbani na mtoto, then there is the illegal way wewe mbia naenda hapa kwa duka tu nimunulie toothpaste.
And Bernard, it comes to what was happening the day before yesterday when guys were in Mandamano. You remember the guys when they were under Mandamano, forgive my language, but Mandamano, you remember that there was some crew that really wanted to unmask these so-called officers that come to curb the Mandamanos and wearing so many masks and hiding their faces and everyone. There was like a guy, I think Bernard, I need to send you that video, that went and unmasked one of the police so that they can take
It's
the
a lady,
photo.
actually. It's a lady.
Yeah, it's a
Was it
lady.
a
I've
lady?
watched the video. It's a lady, and I, I even posted that video on TikTok, and TikTok people took it down.
And by the way, Talaam did not go to Eldoret as reported. He reported himself to the DCI. I think Omari just stated that he did not go. So poor reporting also is not good. So he's in Langata Police Station. He went by himself to record the statement.
Okay. So Cora, I'm happy you brought that up. This police camouflaging themselves, covering themselves, it is part of the criminal wing of police, because what is the need of a police masking themselves and putting on whatever face, hiding their identity? The story we started the show with of police driving to the standard group headquarters in a vehicle that has a false number plate, and they identify themselves as from the General Service Unit. They have come to follow up about that same story. So kama police ni wanatumia magari ya kujificha, change the number plate of the vehicle so that they cannot be identified with that particular vehicle, then there is something fishy. And this story,
Actually, Bernard, I have a KRA something and two number plates that actually we went and did the NTSA search. And do you know what they came to? One of them came from a matatu and another one from a lorry that was deregistered in 3 years ago. Seriously. And those are the number plates you're moving with.
So the criminology arm of the criminal arm of the police needs to be found and needs to be dealt with, or else we can even be running to somebody thinking we are running to police, then we run to the really criminal who is after us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin to wrap up. But before that, let's just hear this video, and then from there, everybody will begin to give their closing remarks. Alafu tu funge tafadhali, muda umeyoyoma. Let's listen to this video only. The others will deal with them in the next.
Imagine, today you're alive, tomorrow you're gone. Imagine you're with your wife and your child, but not for long. Imagine being taken hundreds of kilometers away just to get murdered. Imagine being beaten like a wild animal because of your social cadre. And for starters, you lack the status. Imagine. From Homa Bay to Nairobi to the mortuary, people are astounded by the pace. Imagine. Police were the last ones to hold you before they handed you to death's chilling embrace. Imagine. Being picked up as a man, released as a corpse, all props to the cops. The same ones who peddled a hoax, that you banged your head on the wall of the cell until your fainting heart rate finally fell flat. That is a lie that belongs in hell. Fact. Imagine a young husband, a dad of one. Probably he wanted to father more. His death stunned the nation and furthermore, shattered his wife, mother, and father-more. Hot-blooded cops spilled his warm blood in cold blood. It's so sad. Now, don't imagine. Albert Ojwang, he's the one whose tragic end we had to imagine. From the time it was emerging to the time the truth is trying to be shoved to the margins. The highlights.
Lala, you can come in, please. Lala, mom, then.
Yes. Thanks, Bernard. This is a sad story that the country, a family especially, has to go through. Lose, as the man stated, a son, a father, a husband, a friend, And from what we know about Ojwang, even after high school, his job was to tutor other students. Those who couldn't afford, he was there for them in the community. We can't forget a father who for 20 years worked in a quarry. And a quarry is the hardest place to work. If you've ever been to a quarry, it is, I went to Kasarani one time and I looked at the people there. It's hard. You look at this man's face, his eyesight, due to dust, his health is not good. Is bearing the scar of hard labor just to take his son, only son, to school. And he thought he had done a good job because the son had graduated, got a job as a teacher, a model son, young wife. And the day of his arrest, he had just gone to buy some flowers to plant in front of this young wife that he had to make the homestead beautiful. And you look at the home on the picture, it's a normal peasant home. Not much is there. And he was the only one, the bright light to bring hope to the village. A family that had been torn apart by so many challenges, yet they thought they were having it together because now our son was able to find a job and become a teacher, bring the hope, the excitement. And even the lunch they were getting, it was a time they are all together as a family. The son was there, the wife was there, the mother was there, poor mother, and all their uncles were there. They were all eating together as a family, almost like some form of celebration. And then, of course, these thugs, I call them thugs, come, to pick the man. Because now I'm calling him thugs because the system that they work in is thuggish, and we know that. There's no doubt about that. And there's a lot of evil people in that group. So I'm taking them all together. That's how I feel. That's the raw feeling I have. Take this young man, ship him to a place where he doesn't live, he doesn't know, he's oriented. He's not a criminal. He's simply there because somebody had made a complaint. And so they were trying to figure out. And the complaint he made was that there's corruption going on and nobody has verified, whether that's true or not. But if there's something to remember Ojwang for, if that memory can help us well, that every policeman, every corrupt system in Kenya must be audited and people must go to jail and pay for the crime that they have done. Because all this young man died was because he dare touch the problem. The problem that the nation is weighed the nation down. The problem of corruption fueled by tribalism and all the ism that is bad for a nation. This young man was a symbol of manhood, a symbol of what is right with Kenya, a symbol that a nation has come to a point where things got to change for better, so that we can have a future as a nation. So the death of Ojwang is a death that should prickle every conscience of a Kenyan to say to himself or herself, is this the country I want to continue supporting, or we can do better by creating something better that can help all of us? Ojwang's death must be a death for that which is wrong and rising of that which is right. Then his life will have meant something that will save our nation. God bless Kenya. And to Ojwang family, poleni sana, we grieve with you. And may God protect and provide for you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I think Mami, then Mkenya atakuwa mwisho.
Bernard, we feel sorry for the family, for the loss, especially mtoto moja. It is very painful. But Bernard, ndiye makosa isirudie, from Inspector General baada ya kupinchiwa anasema alidanganywa, you should also step aside. Langat should step aside. DCI should step aside. And then wacha tukue na wadogo. Maybe hakuna mtu amefika hiyo inaitwa nini? Waleta hata wakati mambo iliharibika Wasitu Uhuru ama ni nani alileta Inspector General ya Army? Wasit Moi ama somebody? There was a time Wasit Mohamed alikuwa ya Army, lakini aliletwe kwa sababu police mambo ilikuwa imekuwa mbaya sana. We had Inspector General ya police kama mtu ya Army. Ndiye alikuja kurestore. So for me, hii watu yote tatu waende. Then, kama hatuna mtu wako na hiyo qualification, kwa sababu nafikiria kitambo ukue hiyo inspector, wherever, tupate somebody. Let all these people go. Kwa sababu Kanja, hawezi kuja kudanganyana na kusema alidanganywa as Inspector General of Police. If you can mislead the country, penalty. Ni mambo gani mingi amedanganywa na anatuambia imefanyika? So he should be the first one to step aside. Huyu Langat a step aside. Huyu ya mwenye alitoa watu Nairobi kwenda kulete mtu mpaka wafike Nairobi na atuambii a step aside. Wacha tuongozwe na mtu mdogo. At least damu ya unajua Bernard, mimi ni Mkale. Na mimi najua Lala ni Mjaluo na tuko karibu sawa. Mtoto mmoja akisaliwa Bernard, kwa sababu wasasi yake wanaokopa kama atakufa, kama atapaki, anafanyiwa vituko, anafanyiwa kimila ingine, ni kama vile umesaa mtoto yako ya kwanza, alafu mama asaa ya pili. Wasasi wako na tense. Wanafikiria hiyo mtoto tena wenye waliua. Unajua zamani watu walijua watoto wanauawa. So ile vituko hiyo mtoto mmoja alifanyiwa na watu yake, hiyo damu yake ni mbaya sana. Haita nyamaza. Kwa sababu hakulia kama mtoto yeyote. Chuni mmoja alifanyiwa utamatuni yote. Kwa sababu walikuwa na wofia labda atakufa, labda atasaliwa. So ukifanyia kitu mtoto moja hivi macho moja, Bernard, unajua makabila haifanani. Mimi nimesema yangu na mimi najua Wajaluo they may be the same. Na usae mtoto ya kwanza akufe, alafu ya pili ile maneno watu wasasi yake wanafanya hiyo mtoto Bernard is not normal. Hiyo damu ya hiyo kijana, bila hata sisi kuongea, usifananishe sijui nani alienda, nani akafanya nani. Hii ya mtoto moja, hiyo peke yake imetosha. Anafanya vituko, kwa sababu kusaliwa kwake ilikuwa vituko. Wasasi yake walifanyia vituko ndio apone. Unaenda kumukusa, itakukula mnaisha. Mimi nasema hivi, wa Kenya, tunataka justice. Na Mungu asante amewacha mbegu. Hakuenda bure. Huyo mtoto mdogo, baba yake angalau unalia, lakini anaona hata hiyo mtoto ni innocent. Unaona hata ajui nini inaendelea, lakini Mungu atabariki hiyo mtoto, atashikilia hiyo familia. But we want justice. Ya pili, kifo ya huyo isipatie watu wengine ati wanajaribu kupata political, inaitwa nini? Wanajaribu kuset political something. Hiyo ni kifo imefanyika, wasasi yake wanalia, mkue opposition, mkue serikali, muende mufanye shida yenu, muachane na watu wanalia. Hivyo ndiye nasema. Kuna vile watu walitarajia penalty. Mungu naye ni mwingine. hiyo kifo ya huyo mtoto alikuja in time yenye watu ni Mungu tu, Mungu atende, lakini haki ipatikane. For me, hiyo kijana asipumzike, wote wakwende.
Thank you, Mami. I understand your whatever allegory about traditions. Even kwetu in Luya land, we do that. My father's name is called Makoha. There is a reason that name Makoha is given. There is Makoha, and then my mother. There is something okay.
Oh, Bena, tukiendelea, Kachwang anaitwa Kachwang, alituambia hiyo China inaitwa nini hiyo China hiyo marehemu?
Maana ya Ojwang.
Alisema hiyo China kwa Kijaluo. Alisema ule senator alisema hiyo China ni China ya fituko ndio inakuwa hivyo.
So Makoha means means the child who was picked. So my mother, she's called Matendechere. My father is called Makoha, and they are all the same. Mama alikuwa akizaa watoto akakufa, so walipozaliwa kaenda kutupwa kwa takataka, ndio anaokotwa alafu analetwa kwa mama, sasa anambia ni lele and then of course wanafanyia hiyo maswala mengine. So that kind of a child anakuanga special vile umesema, and there are consequences taking them out of the way, but we leave that with God, and let's push for what is just. We cannot have a society where evil thrives and then we protect that evil. We shouldn't. Let's stay on the right side of history and then think about the future. Tukiua watoto wetu, future doesn't look good. A country must be fighting to preserve the children, preserve the quality of the future children. And that is why I find it very difficult to embrace the reality that the government is playing with education, is playing with healthcare, is playing with food security, that the whole government can sit down and discuss whether we should accept GMO or not. That simply means we are thinking about us and not about the children and the future of the children. Our forefathers did not do that. Our forefathers were willing to deny themselves but preserve the children. Even when there is an outbreak of war, tulisikia story ya Kiambaa Church. Moto umeshika na mama ako tayari kukufa, lakini atupe mtoto nje, angalau kupitia huyo mtoto the future will be realized. So let's not be parents that want to eat everything and kill our children. Let's be parents that preserve the future by preserving our children. Mkenya Mkora, naomba tafadhali, karibu utufungie.
Thank you, Bernard. Mama Selina, thank you so much. I always respect you a lot, Bernard. Thank you a lot, because the things that you do in Lala, it's an eye-opening to the society. It's not just what we talk here, but what we talk here actually builds that society. The society is us, me and you, Mkora kivyangu, but that Mkora is the same Mkora mko nao pia where we are. And that's why personally I came up with that name, Mkenya Mkora. I know you used to fight me about it. But anyway, to do my closing remark is that Albert, because we're on the topic of Albert Ojwang, Albert Ojwang. I'm not happy that we're talking about a corpse, but the thing that he has brought, and I wish he was still alive, he has brought a big conversation in our country that we have to talk. We have to talk. We have to talk about the Mkubwa aspect, and also the tribal aspect too, which is a very toxic area to diverge in. You see, there's a lot of people, I won't mention some people, there's a lot of people, if you talk about their tribe or someone that belongs to their tribe, it becomes a whole different conversation because huyo ni wetu no usiguze. And you remember, Bernard, there was a time that it was about mwizi wetu. And that's a conversation that this guy has opened up. He's also opened up a situation where we have to talk about the hierarchy of who orders what, who doesn't order what. Hii kitu ya orders from above. And now we want to get that orders from above. He's also ordered the devolvement of what are we devolving and what are we devolved. I mean, there's so many questions, Bernard, in this whole thing that we even now want to look at. We actually need to go into even somewhere like these police stations and see if, I mean, are they one bedroom apartment? I mean, you know what I'm asking. Ama ni watu wanakanga wengi hapo pamoja, and how can one person be left by themselves if it's just Nikufungo? And by the way, a reform of what had been brought by Michuki, was it Michuki, the one that brought mattresses in police stations or even jails? And you know, I feel like he's opened up something even in our political realm that we need to look at some things that even the budgets that we send out there, we need to start looking. I'm Bernard, anyway, you know we're in court with other cases which I cannot discuss here, but you know them. But now we are starting to look if we can actually propagate something to where it all we can take this case of this guy and also understand why. And the one thing I'm happy about, I'm not happy, but just the ideology of it, the fact that you know the so-called government, those ones that can pick you from everywhere, they had thought that they had killed, and more to be specific, the Ruto regime had thought they had killed the the fight in the street thing that was happening during either Raila's and Gen Z's movement. But unfortunately, they made a wrong mistake. And Bernard, you remember coming to this show and telling, and you said it too, hata wewe, that your movement, Jaisha, it's been scared away, but it's gonna come back strong. One mistake, that's what you said. One mistake, it will bring them to the streets again. You see, now they are back. And I'm glad that they are back in the streets and they're not playing with them. We are back in the streets because of what? There's something that is cooking. And Bernard, on a serious note, and you know, you and Mama Selina, and all of us here, even Lala, we had this conversation when we were fighting about, ay, wachane na Raila, wachane na nini. So you see now, he's caught in a quagmire that he doesn't know whether to come back to the people or to go to keep on doing this broad-based, bread-based, whatever thing that he's been doing. And we were against that. But now you see, now his people, or not his people, Ruto's people, because Raila is not the president, but Ruto's people are messing up to where they a movement that was almost overthrowing the government, they've brought it back to the streets. Now, as I finish, what do I tell Kenyans? Kenyans, diaspora, be it in Kenya, stand up for your country. The Western countries, the West huko juu, kina Traore, and them, Ghana, Cameroon joining in, they're fighting for their countries and they're moving away from nonsense of the West, Nanini. But Africa is standing up. And the crop of the people that we are looking at in our African countries today, all the way, is a crop that you play with them, you're gonna get hurt. But I'm saying the leaders that think that they are leaders, Africa is waking up, and Kenya is the king of East Africa. And so you might want to fight it, but you will never fight the crop of the people that are there right now. These guys are not playing. So let's make our countries become good and let's think hard. We cannot have these killings and nonsensical explanations of how somebody got killed and everything. And that is why we are trying to unmask even a police on a street to show your face. And that's why we have these smartphones. Bernard, I think that should be a good closing remark for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Stand up and fight for your country. And we should fight for a country where everybody's proud of belonging to, because that country takes care of its people. And that is the whole essence of our conversations here, shedding light in areas that needs clarification. And then, of course, taking a serious position to see to it that we will be part of the history that will be remembered for good and not for evil. So whatever role you wish to play, please take it serious. And then, of course, let's forge forward. We must realize Kenya for all Kenyans. Kenya where every Kenyan is equal in the eye of the law. The Kenya for the few at the expense of every other Kenyan. That Kenya has died, is buried. We need a Kenya for all Kenyans. So let's keep pushing. Ladies and gentlemen, we must call it day or night. It's 3 a.m. East African time, and we must end it there. But before we go, I want to remind us, our bills are yet to be paid, and I've not been feeling well. So the doctor advised me to keep off the show, and I've been off the show deliberately. Unfortunately, I didn't come to tell you that, but I have been taking it slowly so that I recover completely. Now, our bills need to be paid. Remember, we're still supporting Frank, and Frank's rent needs to be paid, and of course, other upkeep issues. Then our bills here. So, nakuomba tafadhali, kama huja respond tafadhali. We need that. One of the reasons why I'm hurrying to complete this show ni watu wa Wandai mita ilikuwa imeanza kulia kipi, and I can't recharge while we are on live until I put off the phone. So naomba tafadhali tukumbuke kufanya hivyo, na kesho nitakuwepo. Tutaendelea na mchakato huu, then maybe from Monday you will be with Shadizo and of course other hosts. But in the meantime, keep in the rest, stay in the know-how. Kama uja join our WhatsApp group, join and be part of the change that is needed. I want to leave us on the note of what Kenya Mkora brought up, and then we just end it like an African folk song. We'll link up again in the next broadcast. Just in case you don't have details of how to send your contribution, here you go. It is M-Pesa till number 516575, Sound Candy Talk, or you use my M-Pesa line, +2547184545585. Bernard is the name. Let's do some good responses so that we are able to run smoothly and not get into problems eventually. Let's listen to what the young people are saying about their country and why we must stand up and defend the liberties that we have been given by the Constitution and the reason why we should stand up for Kenya.
An average Kenyan youth who dares to speak the truth now lives in fear.
Fear that a Subaru may come and whisk them away at night.
Not for stealing, not for killing, but for speaking.
Speaking against a broken system.
A system feeding on our future and our resources.
Some of us have been tortured and brutally silenced.
Some of us have disappeared. No one knows where to.
None of us dies in silence anymore.
If they kill one, they kill all.
If they want to kill, let them kill all of us.
We are millions.
We are not afraid to speak.
You can't kill the truth. We will not be next.
Today, we say enough. Enough is enough. Tumechoka.
We will not be next.
Enough is enough. Will not be next.
Enough is enough. We will not be next.
Enough is enough. We will not be the next.
Enough is enough. We will not be next.
Enough is enough. We will not be next.
Enough is enough. Tumekataa. We will not be next.
Enough is enough. We will not be the next.
Enough is enough. We will not be next.
Sound Candy Talk Live News.